Chapter 538. A month passed quickly. In the Burial Sword Peak's cultivation room, the blazing heat dissipated, and many energy fluctuations disappeared. Tsing-Hui opened his eyes and waved his hand. The 7 dim scarlet sun disks were stored in his personal space. The sovereign golden core, its capacity is 3 times that of a peerless golden core. If I want to perfect the sovereign golden core, Tsing-Hui calculated carefully and came up with a despairing number. 26. He still needed 26 golden crow inner cores. 26 golden crow inner cores. Even if he bought them from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, he would need to spend a total of 2,600 Dao Rhymes. If he bought them from the outside world, even if he bought them at a lower price of 150 Dao Rhymes, he would need 3,900 Dao Rhymes, which was close to 4,000. 4,000 Dao Rhymes. This was already close to the value of the culprit behind the destruction of the divine wilderness, the treasure that carried Dao. Back then, that divine object had caused countless invincible giants of the divine wilderness to take action, causing the entire divine wilderness to be shattered. Because of that supreme divine object, countless cultivators had fallen. The divine wilderness, which even a divine existence like one thought to create a world, had entered a cultivation winter. After 10,000 years, it had become even worse than before. Currently, the strongest in the divine wilderness, they were only at the 1st or 2nd level of the divine realm. Right now, if Qing Su wanted to cultivate his supreme golden core to perfection, he would need an item that was close to that divine artifact. Just the thought of it was enough to make him despair. Unless he could flatten the entire heavenly Tao and destroy it completely, taking over all the stored presence of the heavenly Tao and capturing the 8 Tao sovereigns and the 36 Tao sovereigns alive and forcing them to hand over their personal items, only then would he have any hope of achieving his goal. Otherwise, it was a fool's dream. None of the 1 hall, 3 sects, 6 religions, or 9 sects could take out so many Dao Rhymes. Even if the top myriad star sect, which had the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, was destroyed by him, they would not be able to take out nearly 4,000 Dao Rhymes. No wonder there are no supreme divine ability cultivators in the divine wilderness. Even during the ancient times when the divine wilderness was full of experts, supreme divine ability cultivators were extremely rare. Tsing-Hui rubbed his forehead. Once a supreme divine ability was formed, it meant that the cultivator was invincible in the saint realm. Even the domains of saints could be torn apart by the domineering power of supreme divine abilities. This was the ultimate pursuit of everyone in the divine wilderness world, but it was also an extravagant hope. If it wasn't for his strong will, he would have regretted not deriving the divine ability when he was in the perfected golden core realm. As long as he could successfully evolve a great divine ability, he would be able to rely on the strength of his extreme sword Tao to go against the divinity when there were other powerhouses directly restraining him. Who? Tsing-Hui let out a long sigh. Deriving divine powers is still a long way off. However, when a sovereign golden core erupts with the power of the golden core, it is usually close to the power of a normal divine powers. A sovereign golden core cultivator can even keep his life in front of a divine power realm expert and escape unscathed. In a situation where the divine weapons on his body are 2 grades higher, he can stand shoulder to shoulder with a divine power realm expert. With my sovereign golden core as the foundation, I have fused it with my natal godly sword to create the ultimate sword Tao. The power of the Scarlet Abyss sword has already increased by another level. Tsing-Hui sensed it. The power of the Scarlet Abyss sword might not have reached the level of a great divine ability, but it was already above the level of a normal divine ability, and was at the level of a great divine ability and a pinnacle divine ability. I still need at least 2,600 Taoist rhymes. No. I still owe the hidden sword Venerable more than 200 Taoist rhymes items. I still need 2,800 Taoist rhymes. Where am I supposed to find these numbers? Tsing Hui let out a long sigh and ended his closed-door cultivation. As the array on the burial sword peak dissipated, the people of the Hidden Sword sect immediately knew about Tsing Hui's condition. Not long after, Xiao Luiying, who was still the sect master of the Hidden Sword sect, and a few others arrived at the burial sword peak. Grand Supreme Elder. Xiao Luiying bowed respectfully to Tsing Hui. Greetings, Grand Supreme Elder. The 2 men and 1 woman behind him also hurried to greet him. What's the matter? Grand Supreme Elder, the current situation of the 36 peaks has basically been cleaned up. The peak masters and elders have punished those who should be punished, crippled those who should be crippled, and cleaned up those who should be cleaned up. We've all come up with a plan. I'll let Di Xiao, Xian King, and Luo Hongchen report it to you. Xiao Luiying said respectfully, and then secretly transmitted a message to Tsing Hui. Grand Supreme Elder, these 3 people are the ones I've picked out from the sect. They're very talented and loyal to the sect. I didn't tell you beforehand that you might entrust them with important tasks, so you don't have to worry about them faking it. Grand Supreme Elder, please examine them carefully. Qing Su nodded slightly before looking at the 3 of them. The 3 of them were quite young, between 200 and 300 years old. This age was actually equivalent to an ordinary person in their 30s or 40s. They were in the prime of their lives and were in the prime of their lives. Among the 3, Di Zhao's cultivation was the highest, at the Golden Elixir realm. The remaining Xian King and Luo Hongchen were at the peak of the Never-Ending realm, but they also had a chance to reach the Golden Elixir realm. If either of them were to sit on the sect master's throne and cultivate in the Hidden Sword continent, which was exclusive to the sect master, they would probably reach the Golden Elixir realm. He sized them up for a moment and then said to Di Xiao, "You go first." "Yes, Grand Supreme Elder. I'm responsible for investigating the Dragon Shadow Peak, Sky Water Peak, Red Glow Peak. There are a total of 11 peaks." Tsing Hui listened quietly. Xiao Luiying had been the sect master of the Hidden Sword sect for so many years after all. Even though his management of the sect was rather unsatisfactory, his understanding of the Hidden Sword sect far surpassed the great elder, Qing Su, by countless times. The 3 people he recommended were all quite capable when it came to handling sect matters. At the very least, when the 3 of them introduced the results of the 36 peaks of the Hidden Sword sect in the past month or so, they explained everything clearly and logically. Moreover, they all had their own unique ways of dealing with the matters of the sect. Among them, Di Xiao carried out an iron-blooded approach, punishing offenders severely. King Xian lived up to his reputation and dealt with matters gently and tactfully. Although Luo Hongchen was a woman, she did not want to be outdone. Moreover, her handling of some problems was quite impressive. Tsing Hui listened carefully to the reports of these people, slightly modified the punishment, and added some of his own opinions. Then he said to them, "Then, these things will be done according to your plan. 3 days later, those who have committed serious crimes will be put on trial, and everyone in the Hidden Sword sect will know the consequences of committing crimes. As for those who have committed moderate crimes, they will be detained, and those who have committed less serious crimes will be given a chance to redeem themselves." Speaking of this, he could not help but think of the Golden Sword sect, a chess piece placed in the Hidden Sword continent by the Black Gold continent. Aren't there many forces outside the continent and chaotic organizations supporting many chess pieces in the Hidden Sword continent? Let them uproot these forces and contribute their own strength to the Hidden Sword sect. Yes. Xiao Luiying and the others respectfully answered. Supreme Elder, in 3 days' time, the trial conference. I won't preside over it. You do it. Tsing Hui said, and his eyes fell on Luo Hongchen. Let her cooperate with you. Hearing this, Xiao Luiying suddenly understood something. Supreme Elder Tsing Hui already had a suitable candidate in mind. As long as Hidden Sword Venerable did not object, and Luo Hongqian did not commit any serious crimes in the following period of observation, the throne of the Hidden Sword sect would fall on Luo Hongqian in the future. At this moment, he looked at Luo Hongqian with some envy, but he did not show it on his face. He just nodded and said, "In that case, I will certainly give Supreme Elder Tsing Hui a satisfactory explanation. Well, you may leave. Goodbye, Luing and the others," Xiao Suiying said, and then left with the three elders who didn't know what was going on. After the three of them left, Tsing Hui could not help but divert a part of his spirit into the chaotic divine palace, and then came to his personal space. "I have to get more Dao rhymes as soon as possible," Tsing Hui said, and already appeared in the Primordial Trade Association's station. "Master." At this moment, the one in charge was still Xian Long. Xian Long knew that he was only in the spirit refining realm, so he could not help Tsing Hui much. Therefore, he spent most of his time and energy in the Primordial Trade Association, hoping to help Tsing Hui run it well. At present, he and Blazing Glory were the main forces of the Primordial Trade Association. "Well, I remember that not long ago you told me about a commission in the Cloud Sea continent with a profit of 100 Dao rhymes. Is this commission still available?" "Yes, the three major sects in the Cloud Sea continent are fighting endlessly, and there is no clear winner in a short time. However, the commission price has been lowered." Tsing Hui frowned. "How much has it been lowered?" 50 Dao rhymes. Xian Long hurriedly explained. "The main reason is that half a month ago, a Golden Core Realm expert took this mission. Hao Ran's sect once cancelled this commission, but for some reason, this mission was put up again 3 days ago, and the price was lowered to 50 Dao rhymes. 50 Dao rhymes, with the loss of 50 Dao rhymes, Hao Ran's sect's inexplicable way of lowering the price made Tsing Hui somewhat unhappy. He could only ask again, "Are there any other high-value commissions? Remember, distance is not a problem. You can consider the peripheral continents that are far away from the sea beast. The peripheral continents are generally lacking in Dao rhymes, so it is difficult to offer a high price. Master, please rest assured. At present, we have developed a lot of underlines and gradually have some scale. I believe that the probability of receiving a mission with a higher cost-performance ratio will increase by a lot." "Good, 50 Dao rhymes are still Dao rhymes. Take the commission, contact their people, and have them provide the coordinates. I will first go to the Cloud Sea continent to see if there are any other gains. It is not necessary to do things for them." "Yes," Xian Long respectfully responded. "But the Cloud Sea continent is 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers. Tsing Hui waved his hand. With the cooperation of the backtrack technique, the weakening effect of 3,000 to 4,000 kilometers was nothing. If it was not for the fact that he himself could not send down a Golden Core Realm avatar, it would not matter if he threw his Golden Core Realm avatar over to solve these problems. Backtrack technique, that was a supreme power that could reverse time and space. Even the collapse of the physical body and the annihilation of the soul could be healed, let alone the weakening effect of the avatar. Chapter 539. 3,000 kilometers away from the Sword Shake Mountain. At the foot of the mountain, a group of 6 people were rushing towards the Sword Shake Mountain under the cover of the terrain. There were both males and females in the group. One of them looked to be in his 30s and was at the true energy realm. As for the remaining 5, they were all prominent divine stage experts who had cultivated the battle physique. Even though the Cloud Sea continent was one level higher than the Eastern Wasteland, existences like the prominent divine stage were still core disciples of the top sections. Even though the Cloud Sea continent only had 3 top sects and their strength was not as scattered as the Eastern Wasteland's 10 great saint sects, such people still had an important position in the sects and forces of the Cloud Sea continent. Soon, another 3,000 kilometers and we'll enter the Sword Shake Mountain. The Sword Shake Mountain will be within the sphere of influence of our Sky Sword Alliance. At that time, we'll be really safe, said a middle-aged prominent divine stage man nervously. Blood River Battle Team. If it wasn't for this Blood River Battle Team interfering, how would our Sky Sword Alliance be forced to retreat by the Howran sect? The youngest-looking woman in the group was worried, and there was a trace of fear in her eyes. Xing, don't worry. It'll be fine. The Alliance Master is currently thinking of ways to collect Dao-carrying items from the sects in the Alliance. It's said that he has gathered quite a number, and we can go to the Chaos Shrine to ask for help. If there's really an Almighty who's willing to send down a Golden Core Realm main battle clone to assist us, even if the Howran sect has the help of 3 Golden Core Realm experts and 10 Unending Realm experts from the Blood River Battle Team, we'll definitely be able to turn defeat into victory and reverse the situation. A man who looked to be around the same age as him consoled. What do you mean nothing? Ingen, things are not as simple as you think. Back then, in order to obtain the decisive support of the Howran sect to stabilize the situation of the Cloudsea continent and become the supreme overlord of the Cloudsea continent, the Howran sect used 100 Dao rhythms to ask for help from the Chaos Temple for more than 3 months. However, because we are too far away from the Heaven Wasteland domain where the powerful experts gather, in these 3 months, not a single powerful expert was willing to accept this commission and send down a Jindan Realm main battle avatar to support the Howran sect. It was only because the people of the Blood River Battle Squad happened to be carrying out a mission on a nearby continent and were attracted by the commission fee of 100 Dao rhythms that they came to the Cloudsea continent to assist the Howran sect. Even if our Sky Sword Alliance really posted a reward in the Chaos Temple, in 2 or 3 months, we would not receive a response. Based on the current attack speed of the Howran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad, in 2 or 3 months, our Sky Sword Alliance would have been destroyed long ago. The other man's face was full of resentment, and there was a faint tendency for him to vent his resentment on his teammates. Well, Lu Yu, things are not as bad as you think. The Howran sect did not receive any help for 3 months because the commission fee was too low. 100 Dao rhythms for a powerful expert to send down a Jindan Realm main battle avatar to our Cloudsea continent would cause that powerful expert to face a recovery period of 4 or 5 years. No powerful expert would dare to take this risk. However, during this period of time, our Alliance Master seems to have gathered more than 100 Dao rhythms worth of Dao rhythms. In addition, our members are continuously sending over Dao rhythms worth of Dao rhythms. In the end, the number of Dao rhythms worth of Dao rhythms worth of Dao rhythms is very likely to reach 150. This number is already enough for some powerful experts to take the risk out of desperation. The leading middle-aged man said in a deep voice. Captain of the city capital, is what you said true? The production of Dao rhythms in our Cloudsea continent is extremely low. 150 Dao rhythms? Even if everyone in our Sky Sword Alliance did not spend any Dao rhythms, we would still have to save up for more than 10 years. Under normal circumstances, we would have to save up for hundreds of years. It should be true. Our Sky Sword Alliance has now reached a moment of life and death. All the Alliance Masters and members have no choice but to work together to overcome this crisis. That's great. We're saved. If there's really a powerful expert who's willing to send down a Jindan Realm main battle avatar, even if the Howran sect has 3 Jindan Realm experts and has the support of 4 Jindan Realm experts from the Blood River Troop, we'll definitely be able to defeat them. The middle-aged man's words immediately caused a look of surprise to appear on everyone's faces. The middle-aged man nodded. Just as he was about to say something to boost their morale, a burst of laughter suddenly came from the front. Haha, what did I say? I said that if we wait in the wilderness not far from the Sword Shake Mountain, we'll definitely be able to wait for those fat sheep who'll send Dao rhythms to our door. Look, this is already the second one in 3 days. With a loud shout, 9 figures suddenly rushed out from the forest in front of them and instantly surrounded the 6 of them. The 2 leaders of the 9 figures were at the Never-Ending Realm, while the remaining 7 were at the True Energy Realm to the Transformative Realm. They could be considered the elites of the elites. Blood River Troops member Yuan Shao, Haoran Sect's elder Meng Dongfang. After seeing their cultivation clearly, the 6 members of the Sky Sword Alliance, Great Wall, who belonged to the Sky Sword Alliance, let out a cry of despair. Their eyes were filled with fear. Haha, same old rules. Hand over the primal chaos technique, Tao rhythms, and anything valuable on you, and we'll let you live. Otherwise, we'll make sure you're begging for death. Yuan Shao from the Blood River Troop laughed loudly. He looked at the 6 members of the Sky Sword Alliance as if he was looking at 6 little sheep who had been stripped naked. Among the 9 of them, a middle-aged man with a transformative realm cultivation even looked at the girl named Ziying with a lustful expression. Boss, that girl's quality is not bad. I haven't had sex for a few days. You can leave her for me to play with first. Haha, Laoli, look at you. Are you the reincarnation of a perverted demon? However, it's up to you when the time comes. Anyway, none of them can escape from our hands. Qingdu was shocked and furious. At this moment, the one who reacted the fastest was actually Ing'un, who was only at the prominent divine stage. He suddenly drew his sword and shouted, "This place is only 3,000 kilometers away from the Sword Drift Mountain. Let's fight to the death here. Send one of you to the Sky Sword Alliance in the Sword Drift Mountain to ask for help. Inging has a grade 8 flying sword given to her by the vice leader. She's the best candidate to ask for help. Everyone, let's attack together and tear open a gap to break through." As he spoke, his battle physique suddenly manifested and emitted a mighty aura. He charged toward the true energy realm, transformative realm, and even never-ending realm experts in front of him. Never-ending realm experts didn't have an ability similar to the Golden Core stage. Therefore, a prominent divine stage expert wasn't completely vulnerable in front of a never-ending realm expert. Yes, this is the Sword Drift Mountain. Let's attack with all our might. Break through. After being reminded by Ing'un, Qingdu and the others reacted at the same time. They roared loudly and unsheathed their swords. At the same time, they manifested their battle physique and immediately swept the wind and clouds. You're courting death. When they saw that a few prominent divine stage and true energy realm cultivators actually dared to resist under their encirclement, Yuan Shao, Meng Dongfang, and the others from the Haoran sect roared furiously at the same time. A powerful force immediately erupted from their bodies. Although the never-ending realm and transformative realm experts didn't have an obvious advantage over the prominent divine stage experts, they were able to rely on their absolute control of their own strength to extract the true qi from their entire body in one breath and blast it out. The attack and lethality caused by this was far from something an expert of the same realm could compare to. Ing'un, Qingdu, and the others who charged forward were practically defeated by the Blood River Squad and the Haoran sect experts in a single exchange. Hee, leave this chick to me. The man from the Blood River Squad who was called Laoli earlier smiled sinisterly and charged out. The flying sword beneath his feet was also at the 8th rank. Moreover, because he was a transformative realm expert, his true qi was fully activated. His speed was clearly faster than Ziying's flying speed by a level. In an instant, he was intercepted and shot down. Haha! Surrender and have some fun with this Lao Yi. After heavily injuring Ziying with a single strike, Lao Li laughed wantonly and went straight to capture Ziying. Ah! Ziying let out a panicked cry as if she had already expected the outcome she was about to face. Her eyes were filled with fear. No, no! Ing'un. When Ing'un saw that Ziying was in danger, he roared furiously. His battle body erupted with a dazzling radiance. Stop! Unfortunately, before the power of his battle body could reach its peak, a vast and majestic power had already crashed down and heavily injured his battle body with the force of a thunderbolt. What are you shouting for? Kneel. No! Ing'un roared in grief. He didn't care about the pain of his battle body being destroyed at all. He glared at Ziying, who had fallen into Lao Li's hands and been captured alive. His face was filled with unwillingness. No. Why didn't the people from the Sky Sword Union come? Why didn't they come to save us? Ha ha ha. The experts of the Sky Sword Union on the Sword Shake Mountain are constantly on the lookout for us. As for the ordinary cultivators, no matter how many come, they will only die. No matter how many come, we will kill them all. Ha ha. No one can save you today. Yuan Shao laughed wantonly. The power of the eternal realm in his body suddenly circulated, replenishing the genuine vitality he had just used. Then, a new thunderbolt attack came down. Die. Rumble. His battle body vibrated. Facing another attack from Yuan Shao, an expert of the eternal realm, even though Ingen had condensed a divine-grade battle body, it was still destroyed in one blow. The intense pain made him scream into the sky. No. No. Who can save us? Whoever can save Ing, as long as you can save her, I am willing to give you all of our carrier items. All of your carrier items belong to me, and you still want to give them to others? Destroy them and kneel. Yuan Shao roared, and the power of his battle body slammed down again. However, at this moment, a voice came from the void. All of your carrier items? How many of them can you give me? As the voice came, a young-looking man flew over on a sword. Soon, he appeared in the sky above the battlefield. It was Tsing Hui. Seeing this man, Ingen seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw. He shouted crazily, I have them! I have 23 Dao spiritual carrying items, and I can give them all to you. I will give them to you, but please save Ing. 23. When Tsing Hui heard this number, he was speechless. 23 was a lot? However, thinking about it carefully, with the environment of the Cloud Sea continent and Ing An's identity, 23 carrier items were indeed quite a lot. It was better than nothing. He still had a few thousand carrier items, so he could be considered poor. Naturally, he would not let go of any of them. Okay, I agree to your request. Chapter 540. Where did this brat come from? How dare you meddle in the business of our Blood River battle squad? Didn't your parents teach you that trouble comes from the mouth? A member of the Blood River battle squad looked at Tsing Hui in the void and suddenly shouted. The Blood River Battle Squad was a famous peak organization within a radius of hundreds of kilometers and even tens of millions of kilometers. They traveled between many continents and accepted employment from many continents. From time to time, they would also engage in some robberies without being exposed. However, relying on the powerful forces of the squad, and the fact that they did not go near the Heaven Wasteland domain or the world where the peak chaos organizations were stationed, they had lived peacefully until now. In this sea area, it had always been them who had ideas about others, and no one dared to have any ideas about them. Tsing Hui's actions were undoubtedly like pulling a tooth from the tiger's mouth. Huh! Tsing Hui's gaze fell on the man with a cultivation base of the transformative stage. It was the captain of the Blood River Battle Squad, Yuan Shao, who looked at Tsing Hui with a hint of seriousness. He could faintly feel a trace of Jindan aura from Tsing Hui, but for some reason, the aura of Jindan was indistinct, as if a Jindan expert had cracked his Jindan, leaving only a part of his power. If there was a quasi-Jindan expert in the world, then it must be the person in front of him. You are a Jindan expert? But you should be injured, right? Since you are injured, why don't you recuperate? Why get involved in the muddy water of our Blood River battle squad? Yuan Shao said in a low voice. Even though a Golden Core realm expert was formidable, they had many experts on their side, so they weren't afraid. The reason why they spoke like this was because they didn't want their fight to attract the attention of the Sky Sword Alliance's members on Sword Shake Mountain, causing the Sky Sword Alliance's members to rush over and surround them. Since I have already accepted the 23 Dao Aura treasure, then naturally I will not stand idly by therefore. Tsing Hui considered that he needed to fill at least 3,000 Dao Aura holes, and calmly said, Hand over your chaos techniques, hand over your Tao aura treasure, and I can give you a way out otherwise. Arrogant. Do you really think we are afraid of you? Do you really think you are so great just because you are a Jindan expert? You dare to meddle in the affairs of our Blood River battle team? You must be tired of living. Kill him while he's injured. Before Qing Su had even finished, Yuan Shao had already bellowed out. In the next moment, he manifested his battle form, and a tremendous pressure swept out from him, directly stirring up the energy of the world within several dozen kilometers. The other transcendent cultivators, who were already lawless in the first place, also roared and activated their constitutions. Their power caused the weather to change drastically. The collision of the energy and the friction between the air made the wind howl, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled within dozens of kilometers. It was as if the sky and the earth were falling apart. 2 never-ending realm experts and 7 transformative realm experts. This lineup might not be inferior to a golden core realm expert if they went all out. Unfortunately, Xing Hui was no ordinary golden elixir cultivator. Clang! Accompanied by a loud and clear sword hum, it was as if a scorching sun was slowly rising in the void. Endless sword light mixed with a brilliant sword intent that resembled the sun tore apart the violent changes in the weather and the clouds in the sky. Blazing and violent radiance emitted from the brilliant sword intent that resembled the sun, directly sprinkling onto everyone's spiritual world. For a moment, the 9 experts from the Blood River Squadron and the Hao Ran sect felt as if their souls were being forcefully stripped out and burned under the scorching sun. Those with weaker cultivations were directly burned by the brilliant sword intent on the spot. Even those never-ending realm experts felt as if their spiritual world was being burned by the raging fire, almost turning into ashes. Ah, what kind of means is this? No. This is not the golden elixir realm. This is not the golden elixir realm. Divine power. This is a divine power. Almighty. He is an almighty. Spare me. Sir, spare me. Shrill screams filled the sky as Xing Hui drew his sword. The brilliant and blazing sword light mixed with a sword will that illuminated the ages poured out wantonly, crushing the people of the Blood River battle team and the Hao Ran sect. Among them, the 3 weakest transformative realm experts from the Hao Ran sect screamed miserably as their minds were burned by Xing Hui's sword will. As their minds were scattered, they were naturally unable to control their vital qi to resist the terrifying torrent emitted by the deep scarlet sword. In the next second they were burned into ashes. Not only them, even the remaining 2 never-ending realm experts and 4 transformative realm experts were in an extremely miserable state. They did not have the slightest ability to resist as they tried their best to resist the brilliant sword light on the deep scarlet sword. However, they still felt their bodies being rapidly melted. Xing Hui felt the changes in his own sword will and the power of the deep scarlet sword. He muttered to himself, "The power of the sovereign golden core is even more tyrannical than I thought. Not only is it far above ordinary divine powers, it is also infinitely close to the power of a great divine power." As a result, I did not control my strength well and accidentally burned the souls of the 3 transformative realm experts. After speaking, Xing Hui waved his hand. The sword light that filled the sky and the brilliant sword will that appeared when the sword light was activated were absorbed into his body at the same time. The light that was so intense that no one could look at it directly immediately dissipated. As the light dissipated, the originally arrogant and despotic 6 people of the Blood River battle team and the Hao Ran sect panted heavily as if they had been fished out of the water. 2 of them fainted on the spot due to the double blow to their minds and bodies. Then, do you need me to repeat what I said just now? No. We are convinced. Sir, we are convinced. We were blind to have offended your excellency, and we deserve to die. We'll offer up our primal chaos magic arts and beg your excellency to spare our lives. The moment Xing Hui finished speaking, Yuan Shao, who was still insufferably arrogant just a moment ago, knelt down and roared with his whole body weak. The Hao Ran sect expert Meng Dongfang was also stunned. Almighty! The man in front of them was actually an almighty. An almighty who regarded Golden Core realm cultivators as nothing. An almighty could not deal with a few transformative realm and never-ending realm cultivators. Even if all the Saint Realm experts in the entire Cloud Sea continent joined forces and attacked together, they would not be able to do anything to an almighty. An almighty could easily beat up everyone in the Cloud Sea continent with one hand tied up. If it was an almighty who was proficient in area of effect attacks, he could even destroy the entire Cloud Sea continent by himself. It would just take a little more time. If they dared to resist after offending such an almighty, they would definitely not know how they died in the end. Divine power. Almighty? Ying-en, who had asked Xing Hui for help, was also stunned at this time. He was similar to Yuan Shao and the others. When he saw Xing Hui arrive, he felt that Xing Hui's Golden Core realm cultivation was the limit. He might even have the power of the never-ending realm. After all, Xing Hui did not look old. However, he did not expect that the person in front of him was actually an almighty. A living almighty being. The true body of an almighty. He, Ying-en, had lived for so many years. Not to mention the true body of an almighty figure, he had never even seen the incarnation of an almighty figure. Now, he was able to see the true appearance of an almighty figure and even ask for the help of an almighty figure. What kind of opportunity and honor was this? Okay, you can go now. While Ying-en, Qingdu, and the others were still in a daze, the surviving 2 never-ending realm and 4 transformative realm cultivators had already handed over all their Dao-bearing items and primal chaos incantations. Even the 2 cultivators who had fainted earlier were no exception. They were all woken up and handed over all their items and primal chaos incantations. However, among the 6 people, the 3 from the Blood River battle team were better. One was at rank 5 and the other was at rank 6. Among them, the captain, Yuan Shao, was a high-level son of chaos whose chaos level had reached rank 10. As for the remaining 3 experts from the Haoran sect, Xing Hui felt somewhat ashamed. Among the 3 transformative realm experts, 2 of them were not sons of chaos and the remaining one only had a rank 2 chaos magic formula. It should be known that rank 2, rank 4, and rank 6 chaos magic formula were often very cheap and the price fluctuated between 10 to 20 Dao runes. Even rank 8 chaos magic formula could only be sold for about 30 Dao runes. The value of the chaos magic formula provided by the 6 people in front of him was less than 100 Dao runes. Fortunately, in addition to the chaos magic formula, they still had Dao-carrying items with 30 Dao runes. They did not disappoint Xing Hui too much. After receiving Xing Hui's permission, Yuan Shao and the others felt as if they had been pardoned. They thanked him profusely and fled at the fastest speed, not daring to have any resentment. Resenting an almighty? They simply did not know how to write the word death. The Blood River battle team could be considered a top organization within a radius of millions of kilometers or even tens of millions of kilometers. However, one should not forget that the Cloud Sea continent was more than 40 million kilometers away from Heaven Wasteland. It was clear that they could only show off in places far away from Heaven Wasteland. If they really offended an almighty, it would be a piece of cake for the other party to kill them. The son of chaos of the Cloud Sea continent is of such a low level? Xing Hui was a little surprised and then his gaze fell on Ying-en. I remember that although the Cloud Sea continent's Dao runes production is not high, the son of chaos should not be so weak, right? How can a transformative realm expert not have a chaos item on him? My lord, this our Cloud Sea continent often concentrates our resources on a few alliance leaders due to the threat of ferocious beasts and sea beasts on the periphery, in the hope that one day a Almighty will emerge from one of the sects to protect our Cloud Sea continent and prevent us from being attacked by sea beasts and ferocious beasts. Even if they are lucky enough to obtain some Tao-carrying items, they would choose to convert them into their own strength as soon as possible rather than elevating their chaos level. After all, the elevation of the chaos level does not increase one's strength too significantly apart from the use of divine technique. Ingen suddenly became nervous when he heard Tsing Hui's question. He bowed respectfully and responded with some trepidation. "You don't have to be nervous," Tsing Hui said. At this moment, he recalled that the Cloud Sea continent was more than 43 million kilometers away from infinite wasteland. As far as he knew, the sea region occupied by ferocious beasts, sea beasts, and even sacred beasts and divine beasts seemed to be only 50 to 60 million kilometers away from infinite wasteland. Although the Cloud Sea continent was not located in that region, it was close to the territory of ferocious beasts and sea beasts, so it was reasonable for it to be threatened and attacked by them at all times. Due to the special geographical location, they would choose to convert the resources purchased with Tao runes into their own strength as much as possible instead of making a long-term investment to elevate their chaos level. Not long ago, the computer crashed once and lost a lot of information. The lost information includes the information of many cameos that have been organized and edited. Please send your cameos requests to Chengfin via QQ. I'm really sorry. I'll update 5 times today to compensate everyone. Chapter 541. Thank you, my lord, for saving our lives. After the Blood River Squad and Hao Ransek's people were driven away, Qingdu, Lu Yu, Ingen, and Ziying, who had returned, bowed and thanked Tsing Hui respectfully. My lord, these are my Tao-carrying items. Please accept them. After Ingen bowed, he quickly handed over all the Tao-carrying items that he had collected over the years. These Tao-carrying items were originally collected by Qingdu and the others to contribute to the Sky Sword Alliance, so that the Sky Sword Alliance could think of a way to invite an Almighty from the Chaos Shrine to help the Sky Sword Alliance resolve their current crisis. Now that Ingen had given these Tao-carrying items to Tsing Hui, Qingdu and the others did not dare to say anything. As the leader, Qingdu's heart was moved. After Tsing Hui kept the Tao-carrying items, he asked respectfully, "My lord, I wonder if our Sky Sword Alliance can have the honor of asking you to save our Sky Sword Alliance? Our Sky Sword Alliance is currently facing a crisis from the Hao Ran sect and is in a difficult situation under the siege of the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River Squad. If my lord can lend us a helping hand at this time, our Sky Sword Alliance will be extremely grateful. We will offer all the Tao-carrying items we have collected over the years to you as a thank you gift." Over 100 Tao-carrying items? Tsing Hui's eyes lit up slightly. The reason why he did not go to the Hao Ran sect immediately after arriving on the Cloud Sea mainland was because he was dissatisfied with the Hao Ran sect's way of reducing the price halfway. Therefore, he did not report to the Hao Ran sect after arriving here. Instead, he went straight to the Sword-Shaking Mountain where the Sky Sword Alliance was located. He wanted to see if the Sky Sword Alliance could offer any price. It seemed that helping the Sky Sword Alliance resolve their crisis was much better than joining the Hao Ran sect. How many Tao-carrying items can the Sky Sword Alliance offer? I can assure you that the Sky Sword Alliance will be able to offer no less than 120 Tao vessels. Qingdu understood that if their Heavenly Sword Alliance wanted to survive the joint attack of the Righteous Faction and the Blood River Squadron, their only hope was to follow this Almighty. Naturally, they did not dare to cheat on the price. Instead, they simply quoted the highest price that their Heavenly Sword Alliance could afford. Very good, 120 Taoist rhymes item. Remember what you said, I agree. Tsing Hui nodded slightly. Thank you, my lord. Qingdu bowed respectfully. Lu Yu, who was standing to the side, looked at Tsing Hui with some apprehension. She secretly transmitted her voice to Captain Ching. Captain, isn't there an unspoken rule in the divine wilderness? Were powerful beings who were not born locally not allowed to intervene in matters outside the heaven wasteland domain? This almighty being could say that the warriors of Blood River had offended him when he defeated them. But, isn't he afraid that Hao Ran's sect would spread the news to those large-scale chaos organizations? Isn't he afraid that Hao Ran's sect would spread the news to those top-tier chaos organizations? Isn't he afraid that Hao Ran's sect would spread the news to those large-scale chaos organizations? A mighty figure is willing to risk his life for over 100 Taoist rhymes? Don't meddle in other people's business. Currently, this Almighty is our Sky Sword Alliance's only hope. Once he leaves, our entire Sky Sword Alliance will be in danger of being annihilated. Hence, we should first stabilize this Almighty and let him destroy the Hao Ran sect for us. As for the rest, that's something that this Almighty needs to consider. There's no need for us to worry about it. Ching Du replied telepathically with a hint of warning in his eyes. Lu Yu thought of the current situation that the Sky Sword Alliance was facing and immediately nodded. She did not dare to say anything else. Everything was to think of a way to help the Sky Sword Alliance get through the current crisis. Lu Yu and Ching Du thought that their telepathic messages were secretive. However, Tsing Hui was a cultivator who had perfected his sword intent and was naturally very sensitive to these essential chi vibrations. Even though the sword principle that he had switched to cultivating was far from being comparable to that of a true golden core expert, he was still able to sense most of it. He did not express anything about this. He and the Sky Sword Alliance only had a purely transactional relationship. He helped the Sky Sword Alliance solve their problems, and the Sky Sword Alliance would give him sufficient Taoist treasures as a reward. There was nothing wrong with that. Moreover, there was no so-called good or evil between the Sky Sword Alliance and Hao Ran sect. The two sects were only fighting for the position of the overlord of the Cloud Sea continent. They must have harmed many innocent people on their path of growth. The general trend of the entire world was like this, so he did not feel any guilt. However, the chaos organizations that the two of them had mentioned were indeed a problem. There was only one way for an Almighty to intervene in the matters of a continent under his jurisdiction. That was to send down an avatar. As long as it was an avatar, it did not matter if it was at the Golden Core realm or even an avatar that carried a divine power seed. However, if it was their true body that came, once it was confirmed, any Almighty would have the right to kill him. Even the chaos organizations behind him would not be able to protect him. This was an unspoken rule that had never been messed up in the divine wilderness. Everyone had to abide by it. Otherwise, the many continents in the divine wilderness would have long been divided up by countless factions in the divine wilderness. How could there be any continents like the Eastern Wilderness, Cloud Sea, Heavy Light, and other continents that maintained a certain degree of autonomy? Almighty cannot send their true bodies, but I am only at the Golden Core realm now. Traveling between continents and accepting many offensive missions to earn a large amount of Taoist rhymes is my current greatest advantage. Even if an ordinary top Almighty sends down an avatar at the Golden Core realm, it is possible for it to be killed by a swarm of local cultivators. Just like the avatar of the Black Heaven Taoist Lord, although it could be said to be able to sweep away Golden Core realm cultivators, if the number of Golden Core realm experts reached the double digits, they could still kill his Golden Core realm avatar. As for me, I don't have to worry about this problem at all. Tsing Hui had a faint smile on his face as he followed Ching Du and the others toward the Sword Shake Mountain. Before they reached the Sword Shake Mountain, more than 10 sword lights flew over from the direction of the Sword Shake Mountain. Obviously, the Sky Sword Alliance was furious that the people from the Blood River battle team and the Hao Ran sect had ambushed their members at the entrance of the Sky Sword Alliance. These people were probably cultivators who had joined forces to provide support after sensing the fluctuations of the battle. Elder Qian Shan, Elder Si Xiang. Chengdu hurriedly stepped forward and shouted when he saw the two people leading the group of more than 10 people. Vice Alliance leader Jian Xian's eldest disciple, Chengdu? Elder Qian Shan, who was leading the group, paused when he heard Chengdu's shout. He sized them up for a moment before asking, "Not long ago, there was an intense battle outside the Sword Shake Mountain. Was it you guys?" "Yes, we were attacked by a vice-captain of the Blood River battle team, Yuan Shao, and an elder of the Hao Ran sect, Meng Dongfang." "Yuan Shao and Meng Dongfang?" Si Xiang, who followed closely behind, couldn't help but exclaim, "Those two are experts at the third level of the Saint stage, never-ending stage. How did you guys escape?" "It's all thanks to Lord Xinghui." Chengdu hurriedly turned around and lured Xinghui out. Qian Shan and Si Xiang immediately sensed the aura of a golden core stage expert from Xinghui's body. This aura made them feel a little strange. In their opinion, Xinghui's energy was so weak that it couldn't even compare to a never-ending stage expert. No, it was so weak that it couldn't even compare to a true energy stage expert. Even the aura of the golden core stage in his body was abnormal. However, considering that Xinghui was able to defeat Yuan Shao and Meng Dongfang, who were both never-ending stage experts, it was likely that he was a golden core stage expert. The reason why his aura was so strange was probably because he had used some special concealment technique. The two of them hurriedly thanked Xinghui. "Thank you for your help, Mr. Xinghui. Our Sky Sword Alliance is eternally grateful." "There's no need for that. They used a Dao-carrying item to invite me to help. Naturally, I won't stand by and do nothing." Xinghui waved his hand. "Lord Qing Su has already accepted our invitation. He's willing to help our Sky Sword Alliance in the battle between our Sky Sword Alliance and the Hao Ran sect," Chengdu hurriedly said. Qian Shan and the Fourth Minister, who were already rather troubled by the Heavenly Sword Alliance's disadvantage, were immediately overjoyed. Even though Qing Su was only a Golden Core expert, his participation would allow the Heavenly Sword Alliance to last a little longer against the Haoran sect. It would be best if they could last until the Blood River fleet lost their patience and left. Good. Mr. Xinghui has come at the right time. We'll bring Mr. Xinghui to the Alliance and request to see the Alliance leader," Elder Qian Shan said happily. Under their lead, the group of people quickly arrived at the Sky Sword Alliance. The sword-shaking mountain where the Sky Sword Alliance was located at the core of the eastern part of the Cloud Sea mainland. There were 3 prosperous countries around it, and each country had countless citizens. The talented people among these citizens were constantly sent to the Sky Sword Alliance to strengthen the Sky Sword Alliance. That was how the Sky Sword Alliance became what it was today. Of course, the Heavenly Sword Alliance was not a whole. Instead, it was an alliance formed under the pressure of the Profound Underworld sect and the Righteous sect. Originally, the alliance did not have much cohesion. Everyone had only banded together to protect their own sect's legacies during the battle for supremacy between the Profound Underworld sect and the Righteous sect. However, with the emergence of the Heavenly Sword Alliance's Alliance Master, Yang Wendao, and the assistance of the Vice Alliance Master, Zhou Jianxian, the originally rather loose Heavenly Sword Alliance immediately became a whole. Even though the Sky Sword Alliance still had a board of patriarchs and each of the patriarchs was equivalent to a representative figure of the Sky Sword Alliance's member sects back then, as time passed, these patriarchs gradually discovered that the Sky Sword Alliance that everyone had joined together to form was becoming stronger and stronger, faintly surpassing the strength of the Profound Underworld sect and Hao Ran sect. The mentality of these patriarchs instantly changed. They gradually put aside the benefits of their sects and thought of becoming the overlord of the Cloud Sea continent. They officially allowed the colossal Sky Sword Alliance to compete with the Profound Underworld sect and Hao Ran sect for the Cloud Sea continent. Unfortunately, This thought was shattered when the Hao Ran sect gave birth to the third Gold Core Realm expert a year ago. In addition, the Hao Ran sect had received the support of the Blood River Troop not long ago. Its power and influence had reached its peak, and they were directly targeting the Sky Sword Alliance. If it wasn't for the profound underworld sect pulling the Hao Ran sect back, the Sky Sword Alliance would have been completely annihilated. Now, the Sky Sword Alliance was thinking about how to protect the Sky Sword Alliance as soon as possible and prevent it from being annihilated by the Hao Ran sect. Elder Qian Shan had a distinguished status. When he passed the news to the Sky Sword Alliance, Xing Hui and the others arrived at the Sky Sword Alliance. The Alliance Master of the Sky Sword Alliance, Yang Wendao, was already waiting there with a group of trusted subordinates. Haha, is this Lord Xing Hui? Thank you, Lord Xing Hui, for lending a helping hand to the Sky Sword Alliance during our time of crisis. The entire Sky Sword Alliance is eternally grateful. Yang Wendao laughed enthusiastically. It doesn't matter whether you're grateful or not. However, you just have to remember to pay me enough Dao-carrying items when the time comes. This city governor has promised me 120 Dao-carrying auras. There shouldn't be a problem for the Sky Sword Alliance to take out 120 Dao-carrying auras, right? Xing Hui said bluntly. 120 Dao-carrying auras? Upon hearing Xing Hui's offer, the Alliance Master of the Sky Sword Alliance, Yang Wendao, and the two great elders, Qian Shan and Si Xiang, who had come with him, had their smiles stiffened. Chapter 542. Is there a problem? Xing Hui looked at Yang Wen and asked with a slight frown. At this moment, Tring Do understood where the problem was and quickly transmitted a message. Alliance Leader, please agree to it as soon as possible. Please don't be hateful towards Master Xing Hui. It's a great blessing that Master Xing Hui is willing to help us fight against the Hao Ran sect. We won't get another chance like this if we miss this opportunity. Tring Do, are you mistaken? How could you offer 120 Daoist rhymes for a Golden Core Realm expert? Even the Hao Ran sect only offered a price of 100 Daoist rhymes for the Blood River squad. Could he be more powerful than the entire Blood River squad by himself? Someone from the Blood River squad even hinted to us that if we could offer 200 Daoist rhymes, he wouldn't help either of us. If we could offer a higher price, he would even help us fight against the Hao Ran sect. Alliance Leader, if he's just a Golden Core Realm expert, he wouldn't be worth 120 Daoist rhymes. However, Master Xing Hui isn't just a Golden Core Realm cultivator. He's an almighty who has derived a divine power. Almighty? Yang Wen was slightly stunned. Then, he couldn't help but lose his composure and shouted, "What did you say? Almighty? Master Xing Hui is an almighty?" When he lost his composure and shouted, everyone's gaze fell on him. Yang Wen also realized that he had lost his composure and quickly apologized to the people around him. "I'm sorry, everyone." At the same time, he looked at Xing Hui as if he wanted to get an answer from Xing Hui himself. "Almighty?" Xing Hui chuckled and said, "I won't admit that. However, if you can offer me 120 Daoist rhymes, I can promise to help you deal with the 7 Golden Core Realm cultivators from the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River squad." Alliance Leader, Master Xing Hui is a real almighty. Tring Do, who was at the side, hurriedly added, "I've always been by Master's side, so I can still clearly differentiate between Golden Core Realm experts and almighty beings. Alliance Leader, Lord Xing Hui is indeed a true almighty. I saw with my own eyes how Lord Xing Hui used his divine powers. Before the mighty Sword Qi and Sword Light descended, he had already defeated the 2 Never-Ending Realm experts and 7 Transcendent Realm experts of the Blood River Battle Squad and the Hao Ran sect. 3 of the Transcendent Realm experts couldn't even withstand the aftershock of Lord Xing Hui's divine powers. They were instantly incinerated into ashes by the aftershock of the divine powers. This kind of power is many times stronger than that of a Golden Core realm expert. Ying-un and the others, who came with Ching-Du, also said solemnly. Yang Wendao, who was originally in disbelief, was shaken after hearing Ying-un, Ching-Du, and the others' affirmation. In addition, Tsing Hui's request was to deal with the 7 Golden Core realm experts from the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad. As long as he could really deal with the 7 Golden Core realm experts, the remaining Never-Ending Realm and the Transcendent Realm elders and ordinary members would definitely be without a leader. Soon, they would be defeated by the Sky Sword Alliance and the Profound Underworld sect in one fell swoop. At that time, the crisis of the Sky Sword Alliance would be resolved and the situation of the Cloud Sea continent would change drastically. It would become the battlefield between the Sky Sword Alliance and the Chosen One. Thinking of this, Yang Wendao said without hesitation, "All right, I agree. Lord Tsing Hui, if you can really deal with the 7 Golden Core realm experts from the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad, our Sky Sword Alliance will offer 120 Taoist rhymes to you with both hands." Very good. You have been fighting with the Hao Ran sect for more than half a month. Even if you don't know the whereabouts of all their higher-ups, you should still be very clear about the location of those Golden Core realm experts. Give me their location and I will go deal with them one by one. You should keep an eye on the pawns you have placed in the Hao Ran sect. You should be able to get the news very soon. After Tsing Hui finished speaking, he paused for a moment. While I am dealing with the Golden Core realm cultivators from the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad, you should also prepare the 120 Taoist rhymes. I don't want your Sky Sword Alliance to find all kinds of excuses to delay after I have dealt with the problem. Yang Wendao quickly bowed respectfully and said, "Please rest assured, Lord Tsing Hui. We will prepare the Taoist rhymes immediately. Moreover, the spy we have placed in the Hao Ran sect is not only a son of chaos, but he also has a high position in the Hao Ran sect. Once you have dealt with the Golden Core realm experts from the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad, he will definitely receive the news immediately and pass it to us." "That's good. Give me the information and I will set off now." "Yes." Yang Wendao waved his hand to a true energy boundary man behind him. The man quickly handed over a jade talisman to him, who then passed it to Tsing Hui. "My lord, please take a look. This is where the 7 Golden Core realm experts from the Hao Ran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad are." Tsing Hui scanned it with his consciousness. One of the Golden Core realm supreme elders from the Hao Ran sect was guarding the sect, one was in the direction of the Stygian sect, and the last one was not far from the Sky Sword Alliance. It was in a city about 8,000 kilometers away from the Sword Shake Mountain. Tsing Hui carefully estimated that he should have used the information provided by the Golden Core realm expert to descend to the Cloud Sea mainland. However, the method he used to descend was somewhat special and avoided the eyes and ears of the Golden Core realm expert. As a result, they were probably guessing whether he had actually descended or not. Doesn't the Blood River Battle Squad have 3 Golden Core realm experts? Why is there only one marked here? My lord, 2 of the 3 Golden Core realm experts from the Blood River Battle Squad have been lurking in the dark, killing the important higher-ups of the Sky Sword Alliance and the Stygian sect. We don't know where they are hiding. Please forgive us, my lord." Yang Wendao said with a bitter expression. "Still hiding? Forget it. I'll go and deal with the Golden Core realm cultivator from the Blood River Battle Squad first. After I capture him and interrogate him, I'll naturally be able to find out where the other 2 Golden Core realm experts are." After Tsing Hui finished speaking, he stood up. "My lord, are you going directly? Don't you need to rest?" "There's no need. It's only 8,000 kilometers," Tsing Hui said lightly. With the speed of the Sky Splitter, 8,000 kilometers was less than an hour for him. Immediately, he broke through the sky and disappeared from Yang Wendao's sight in the blink of an eye. "Almighty? Is it really an almighty? Could the alliance leader be a liar? After Tsing-Hui left, the two elders, Qian Shan and Si Xiang, who were extremely shocked, stepped forward and asked doubtfully, "Liar? It can't be, I didn't give him any promise, nor did I give him any Dao-carrying item as a deposit. If he really is a liar, he should have asked us to pay the Dao-carrying item first." Yang Wendao was also somewhat puzzled. In fact, he also had some doubts about the identity of Tsing-Hui, but Tsing-Hui did not ask for the Dao-carrying item, and he also did not reveal his doubts. He just wanted to give it a try. But if he really is an almighty, why would he dare to intervene in the affairs of our Cloud Sea continent? I can feel that he is not in the form of an avatar, but his real body. Is he not afraid that the Blood River Battle Squad or the Howran sect will report this matter and cause many almighty to attack him? Yang Wendao shook his head. We don't know what he is thinking. He probably feels that the Cloud Sea continent is too far away from the Heaven Wasteland domain. As long as he is quick and deals with the matter properly, he will immediately leave the Cloud Sea continent, and no one will come from so far away to meddle in other people's business. Well, let's not talk about this anymore. Everything will wait until he returns from the Howran sect. Whether he is a liar or not, and what he is thinking, we will wait until he kills the Golden Core stage experts of the Howran sect and the Blood River Battle Squad. While Yang Wendao, Qian Shan, the four ministers, Qing Du, and the others were discussing whether Tsing-Hui was an almighty, Yuan Shao of the Blood River Battle Squad, Meng Dongfang of the Howran sect, and the others returned to the Crystal Lake 800 kilometers away from the sword-shaking mountain with gloomy faces. The Crystal Lake was rich in a type of red sandalwood crystal, which was unbelievably miraculous in helping cultivators cleanse the pill poison in their bodies. It was an important resource point of the Sky Sword Alliance. However, this resource point was now occupied by the Howran sect. Furthermore, the Howran sect had also sent their Golden Core Stage Grand Elder, Kong Songbai, and dozens of True Energy Stage, Transformative Stage, and Never-Ending Stage experts to guard this place. They could be considered to have an impressive reputation. Unless the Sky Sword Alliance turned out in full force, they would not be able to remove this stronghold of the Howran sect. Once the Sky Sword Alliance turned out in full force, it would cause a huge commotion. The pawns hidden in the Sky Sword Alliance would definitely be alerted. At that time, it would be up to them to choose whether to temporarily retreat or simply gather nearby reinforcements to set up a trap and wipe out the Sky Sword Alliance in one fell swoop. Elder Kong, Yuan Shao, Meng Dongfang, and the others hurriedly arrived at the Crystal Lake encampment and made a beeline for Kong Songbai. However, when they arrived at Kong Songbai's study, they discovered two guests inside. These two guests were none other than the Blood River Battle Team's vice-captain, Qi Bai, and the never-ending realm expert, Wang Luo. Upon seeing these two, Yuan Shao, whose eyes were originally filled with depression, calmed down slightly. Hurriedly, he said, "Captain, Elder Kong, something bad has happened." "What happened?" Kong Songbai was confused. Meanwhile, Qi Bai possessed extraordinary eyesight. He immediately noticed that something was wrong with Yuan Zhao's mental state. Immediately, he asked in a deep voice, "Yuan Shao, what's wrong with your aura? I can feel that your vitality is much weaker than before. My Tier 3 recovery ability has gone down the drain. It's only natural that my vitality has decreased," Yuan Shao said. Yuan Shao said in a deep voice, "Captain, you have to make a decision for us." "What? My Tier 3 recovery ability is gone? What's going on? My chaotic tier has been stripped away. How is this possible? The Sky Sword Alliance? They actually dared to target your chaotic tier? They must have a death wish. Wait, that's not right. No matter how powerful the Sky Sword Alliance is, even if two Golden Core Realm experts were to join forces and defeat you, you would still have a chance to escape. Why would they capture you alive and force you to hand over the Chaos Formula? It's not the Sky Sword Alliance. It's an expert who was passing by. At this point, a cold killing intent flashed in Yuan Zhao's eyes. If I'm not wrong, this expert who passed by is an almighty who has cultivated a divine ability. The moment Yuan Zhao said that, Kong Songbai and Qi Bai turned pale with fright. An almighty? Could it be a golden core realm avatar? Yuan Zhao, why you're not joking? Captain, Elder Kong, how could I joke about something like this? I can tell the difference between an avatar and the real body. That almighty definitely came with his real body. This is absolutely true. Moreover, I suspect that this almighty has already interfered with the battle between the Howran sect and the Sky Sword Alliance. Qi Bai gasped. How is this possible? Does he not want to live anymore? An almighty actually interfered with the battle between the local forces overlords with his real body? Isn't he afraid that his actions will cause the various chaos organizations to gang up on him? Captain, if you don't believe me, you can send someone to investigate personally. I believe that the Sky Sword Alliance will spread the news very soon. As Yuan Zhao spoke, his gaze landed on Kong Songbai, the Golden Core Realm expert. If this almighty really intends to help the Sky Sword Alliance, the Howran sect will be doomed. However, didn't you pledge allegiance to a top chaos organization? At this time, you can only ask them to send an almighty to uphold justice. At the same time, that almighty can also take the opportunity to help you uproot the Sky Sword Alliance and the Stygian sect. The Sky Sword Alliance broke the rules first. Your Howran sect has the right to do so. If this spreads, the other chaos organizations won't pursue the matter. Third update. Chapter 543. A top chaos organization. We didn't rely on a top chaos organization, but we got to know a powerful Voidwalker. Kong Songbai's eyes were gloomy. We're just a Voidwalker, but that Voidwalker belongs to a very powerful force with an extraordinary background. I wonder if he's willing to help us. Send the message immediately. We, the Blood River Battle Team, will definitely not help your Howran sect fight against an almighty. That would be suicide. Almighties can't interfere with the fights between local forces, but we, the Blood River Battle Team, are not from the Cloud Sea mainland. He doesn't dare to attack your Howran sect, but no one can say no to us, who are also outsiders from the Cloud Sea mainland. Qi Bai's words were conclusive, and his tone was unquestionable. Did you see clearly? Is that really an almighty? I want you to be 100% sure. Kong Songbai's gaze landed on Meng Dongfang, his eyes full of sternness. Although Meng Dongfang wanted to admit it, he could faintly feel that the almighty's aura was only at the golden core realm, and it was even at the level of a broken golden core. He couldn't quite confirm it, especially, the attack that the almighty had unleashed seemed to have originated from the peerless divine sword in his hand. For a moment, he couldn't help but turn his gaze back to Yuan Zhao. Mr. Yuan Zhao, let's think carefully. Is that person really an almighty? If he's really an almighty, wouldn't he know the consequences of coming to the Cloud Sea mainland with his real body? In order to eliminate this hidden danger, he should completely eliminate us. Why? Why would he let us leave alive? Furthermore, don't you think that the reason why he was able to unleash such a shocking attack was completely because of the divine sword in his hand? Could he be a Golden Core Realm expert with a level 11 or even level 12 peerless divine weapon? Meng Dongfang's words caused Yuan Zhao's expression to change slightly, but he quickly said in a deep voice, impossible. Even if a Golden Core Realm expert wields a level 12 divine weapon, he can't unleash such an earth-shattering attack. The power of that attack is definitely at the level of a divine ability. If a level 12 divine weapon can't do it, what about the level 13 divine weapon used by the Supreme Giants? Kong Songbai asked. Level 13 divine weapon. Yuan Zhao didn't say anything. He had never truly witnessed the might of a level 13 divine weapon. Let alone a level 13 divine weapon, He hadn't even seen a level 12 divine weapon. It should be said that in the present world, even in the core of a world like Heaven Wasteland, the highest divine weapon that could be forged was a 12th order. As for weapons above the 12th order, without exception, they all originated from the excavated ancient caves. Even the divine weapons above the 12th order used by the supreme giants of the Saint Realm were no exception. The ancient caves originated from tens of thousands of years ago, and after tens of thousands of years, the spirituality and sharpness of divine weapons of the 13th order, 14th order and even higher order had gradually dissipated. It was completely unknown how much power they could retain. Buzz! At this moment, Kong Songbai's communication jade amulet vibrated slightly. He glanced at it with a part of his mind and his face changed. It's here! The mysterious expert who called himself Tsing Hui had arrived. He went to the Sky Sword Alliance, and was hired by the Sky Sword Alliance for 120 Daoist rhymes. Now, he's coming straight for our Crystal Lake. 120 Daoist rhymes? The Sky Sword Alliance actually has such a strong foundation. An Almighty would risk his real body being killed by other chaotic organizations for 120 Daoist rhymes? Kong Songbai's words caused everyone to exclaim in surprise. Elder Kong, you'd better make a decision as soon as possible. Are you going to ask the Almighty behind you to fight against this mysterious expert called Tsing Hui, or are you going to retreat directly? Even if the mysterious expert isn't an Almighty, he has a suspected 13th order divine weapon, which is still not something we can fight against. With the advantage of the 13th order divine weapon, he's invincible in the Golden Core realm. Chi Bai said sternly. Obviously, the Blood River team couldn't stay here and defend with the Hao Ran faction. Wait a minute, Your Excellency Chi Bai, please don't be impatient. Originally, I had some doubts about asking the Almighty behind me, but now, with the 13th order divine weapon, it's no longer a problem. A 13th order divine weapon. Even in Heaven Wasteland, it can be sold for hundreds of Daoist rhymes. I believe the Almighty will definitely be tempted to come and uphold justice. Then what are you waiting for? I'll contact the Lord Voidwalker right now. As Kong Songbai said this, he had already separated a part of his spirit and projected it into the Chaos Divine Palace. In less than 15 minutes, Kong Songbai opened his eyes again, and a look of surprise flashed across his eyes. The Lord Voidwalker has agreed, and there happens to be an Almighty with an extraordinary background and cultivation as a guest in his mansion. He's very curious about the 13th order divine weapon. He'll come with the Lord Voidwalker, and if necessary, he'll choose to do it himself. Speaking of this, he paused slightly. I've cultivated a secret method called the Soul Pupil Technique, which has a miraculous effect on seeing through the secret method of others hiding their cultivation. I'll personally use the Soul Pupil Technique to check the background of the man named Tsing Hui. If he's an Almighty, we'll accept it. We can only pin our hopes on the Almighty to uphold justice for us in the future. But if he's just a practitioner of the Gold Core realm who flaunts his prowess with the help of a 13th order divine weapon, it'll be easy. I believe both the powerful Lord Voidwalker and the Almighty, who happens to be a guest in the Lord Voidwalker's mansion, will teach him how to behave. When Chi Bai heard that Kong Songbai could really ask the Voidwalker and the Almighty in his mansion to come, a smile appeared on his face. One had to know that the Voidwalker had to be at least at the chaotic realm of level 25 and above. Usually, they were also Almighty existences. Even if the Voidwalker and the Almighty came for the 13th order divine weapon in the other party's hand, it was already considered extremely impressive. Then we'll wait here for Elder Kong's good news. Elder Kong, please don't worry. As long as your Hao Ran sect can solve this variable for us, our Blood River troop will definitely assist you to destroy the Sky Sword Alliance and let your Hao Ran sect become the only overlord of the Cloud Sea mainland. Thank you, Captain Chi Bai. I'll set off now, Kong Songbai said as he walked out of the hall. He then leaped up and floated above the crystal lake, looking as though he was waiting for Tsing Hui's arrival. As for Qi Bai, Yuan Shao, and the rest, they hid in the courtyard beside the crystal lake. If something went wrong, they would retreat immediately to preserve the combat strength of the Blood River troop. Rumble. How fast was Tsing Hui's imperial sword flight speed? Accompanied by a violent sonic boom, a white rainbow carrying a sword light that tore through the sky appeared above the crystal lake in an instant. The sonic boom from far to near shook Kong Songbai, who was in the void, as well as the Blood River battle team and the others below, who were trembling with fear. This speed, Kong Songbai's eyes suddenly shrank. Even though he was fearful of the monstrous aura coming from the person in front of him, when his gaze landed on the flying sword beneath his feet, his eyes suddenly shot out a dazzling radiance. 11th Order Flying Sword? No. If he isn't an almighty, this might not be only at the 11th Order. The aura of the Golden Core Realm, there's still the aura of the Golden Core Realm on his body. It's not a divine ability. He's not a divine ability almighty. He's just a Golden Core Realm, who was lucky enough to obtain an ancient cave and excavate many divine weapons. For a Golden Core Realm to have such speed, the flying sword beneath his feet must have reached the 12th Order. Regardless of whether he has a 13th Order divine weapon or not, just the value of the 12th Order flying sword is enough for the Voidwalker and his Almighty to personally take action. Thinking of this, Kong Songbai did not hesitate to send this information to the Chaos Shrine. It wasn't that he didn't think of monopolizing the 12th Order flying sword, but after considering the supreme divine power of a 13th Order divine weapon, he ultimately suppressed his greed. Even if it was an ordinary Golden Elixir Realm expert, if he stepped on a 12th grade flying sword and wielded a 13th grade divine weapon, he would be able to transform into an invincible killing machine. Unless they had dozens of Golden Elixir Realm experts on their side, otherwise, with just the current strength of the Hao Ran sect, even if the Blood River battle team attacked together, only death would await them. After sending the message to the mysterious Voidwalker, Kong Songbai also bowed to Tsing Hui from afar. Hao Ran Sect's Supreme Elder, Kong Songbai greets Mr. Our Sky Sword Alliance is willing to offer the same price for the Tao-carrying item. We only hope that Mr. can stay out of this matter and not help either side. We hope that Mr. can agree. Tsing Hui, who was riding on his flying sword, paused slightly. The Sky Sword Alliance gave me 120 Taoist rhymes. Can your Hao Ran sect give me 120 Taoist rhymes? As far as I know, in order to hire the Blood River troop, you have already spent most of the Taoist rhymes. It was obvious that the Hao Ran sect could not afford 120 Taoist rhymes. However, Kong Songbai's current goal was to stall Tsing Hui so that the Voidwalker and the Almighty who came along with him could arrive as soon as possible. Without any change in his expression, he said, "The foundation of our Hao Ran sect is far superior to that of the Sky Sword Alliance, which has only been established for less than 100 years. The Sky Sword Alliance can only afford 120 Taoist rhymes even if they go bankrupt. However, even if our Hao Ran sect gave 100 Taoist rhymes to the Blood River troop in advance, we can still gather 120 Taoist rhymes. We just need some time, Mr. How long? 1 day. We only need 1 day to gather all the Taoist rhymes." Kong Songbai gritted his teeth and said. In order to prevent Tsing Hui from attacking him directly after being dissatisfied, he did not dare to say too long. 1 day, huh? Tsing Hui muttered to himself as if he was considering. However, at this moment, a mighty wave of primordial qi suddenly condensed from the void. In the blink of an eye, it formed a middle-aged man who looked to be in his 40s. Seeing the man's figure appear, Kong Songbai was overjoyed. He quickly bowed and said, "Welcome, Underworld Walker." "Oh, an incarnation?" Tsing Hui looked at the incarnation of the middle-aged man in front of him. He could feel a trace of the aura of an almighty on him. It was obvious that this middle-aged man's original body had reached the realm of an almighty. However, the incarnation of an almighty could only reach the golden elixir realm at most. Even if he had the rank 10 personal space like Tsing Hui and brought his original body here, because he had just used the incarnation technique, his original body must be in a weakened state. Unless he had the backtracking technique to restore his original body to its peak state, he would be courting death. You didn't lie to us. It really is a rank 12 flying sword. A golden elixir realm cultivator actually swaggered around with a rank 12 flying sword. You really don't know how to spell the word death. Ha ha, not bad, not bad. This trip was not made in vain. The Voidwalker called Underworld Walker's gaze immediately landed on the skysplitter at Tsing Hui's feet. His eyes instantly lit up, and then he waved his hand. A young man in luxurious clothes who was filled with an arrogant aura strode out from his personal space. Chapter 544. Holy Master Xian Bing. As the young man appeared, the Voidwalker, Feng Ming, who was also an almighty, bowed slightly to him. In terms of essence, Feng Ming's aura was stronger than the young man in front of him. This showed how noble the young man was. Golden Core Realm. This is indeed the aura of a Golden Core Realm. Moreover, it feels like a cracked golden core. The young man, Holy Master Xian Bing, looked at Tsing Hui as soon as he arrived. When he saw that Tsing Hui was only at the Golden Core Realm, his eyes were filled with disappointment and loneliness. Ever since I became an almighty, I have fought with the 4 almighties in the sect 10 times and won 10 times. However, I have never really killed an almighty. My father did not allow me to go out to hunt for almighties who are against the way of heaven. He ordered me to study superpowers and comprehend the superpowers first. However, without a record of killing an almighty, how can I convince everyone when I lead the Milky Way sect in the future? I thought I would be able to kill an almighty and add to my achievements. However, I did not expect him to only be a Golden Core Realm cultivator. This is so disappointing. Is it so difficult for me to kill an almighty to show off my superpowers? The young man, Xian Bing's voice echoed in the void. His voice was melodious, and there was an indescribable loneliness in his tone. Holy Master Xian Bing, you have a noble status. You are the person who will inherit the Milky Way sect in the future. Naturally, you can't risk your life. However, after you cultivate for a while and completely comprehend all kinds of superpowers, you will be able to kill an almighty with the peerless godly weapon that Lord Tao Master promised to give you. Feng Ming said with a smile. Fine. Although he is only at the Golden Core Realm, he can control a level 12 flying sword. It is said that he even has a level 13 godly weapon. He must have obtained a good ancient opportunity. I only hope that he can cultivate the superpowers and secret skills that were passed down from the ancient opportunity to arouse my fighting spirit. It will be a warm-up for me to kill an almighty in the future. Xian Bing said proudly. An almighty! An almighty! An almighty is here in person. Kong Songbai's eyes were filled with surprise when he heard Xian Bing's words. The Voidwalker, Abyss Collapse, had actually brought along an almighty. With such a powerful being around, what was there to fear about a mere Tsing Hui? He actually managed to summon a true almighty. Furthermore, it seems like this almighty's identity is rather extraordinary. Qi Bai, Yuan Shao, and the others from the Blood River battle team were also shocked. Although it was obvious that these almighty experts were here for Tsing Hui's divine weapon, the fact that the Hao Ran sect was able to invite almighty experts was a kind of ability in itself. It seemed that the Blood River battle team would have to put in more effort to assist the Hao Ran sect in destroying the Sky Sword Union and the mysterious Underworld sect. A transcendent realm expert? Xing Hui looked at the young man in front of him, who was slowly taking out an icicle that was emitting a chilling aura and integrating it into his body. His expression was a little cautious. The Transcendent Realm expert's aura was even stronger than the Broken Sword's aura. The aura that belonged to an almighty spread out in all directions without restraint, causing the vital energy around his body to become chaotic and distorted. If an ordinary person were to look at him, they would feel as though he was in another space-time. It was both real and illusory, filled with an unpredictable charm. However, the Transcendent Realm expert in front of him was clearly emitting a powerful aura that was filled with invasiveness and destruction. However, for some reason, the threat that he brought to Xing Hui was even less than the Broken Sword. No. It was not even, it was the truth. Could it be because the golden core in my body has leveled up from peerless grade to supreme grade, and my fighting power has increased? However, an almighty can never be too careful no matter how careful he is. I should take advantage of the fact that he still has a trace of contempt for me and has not started to condense his divine powers to strike with all my strength. I don't need to seriously injure him with this strike, but at least I need to gain the upper hand. Xing Hui was very clear that he was not a real almighty. This could be seen from the fact that he was obviously at a disadvantage when fighting with the Broken Sword and was even almost killed by the Broken Sword. Therefore, in front of this almighty whose aura was even stronger than the Broken Sword, he had to be 120% alert and give it his all. Otherwise, without the token of the world of battle, he would die. Rumble! The blazing sword essence suddenly burst out from his spiritual world. Surprise attack! Surprise attack! He had to use the surprise attack. Before this almighty named Xian Bing really looked at him, he had to use all his strength to strike his strongest blow. He did not need to seriously injure him, but at least, he had to establish the upper hand. Only then would he have the hope of defeating this almighty. Burn! Buzz! Xing Hui let out a long roar. The brilliant sword light in his spiritual world burned with a blazing light under the stimulation of his will. The sword essence burst out, followed by the full explosion of the power of the golden core in the deep scarlet sword. Endless light and flame constantly collided and intersected in the deep scarlet sword, and the crazy fusion and fission produced a terrifying power that was enough to destroy the world. The Sword of the Glorious Sun. Or it could be said that it was a brand new sword move that surpassed the Sword of the Glorious Sun. The sun burst. The Sword of the Sun burst. The Sword of the Sun burst was a swordsmanship that Xing Hui had not fully mastered. Moreover, because this sword needed to stimulate his own power to form fission in the deep scarlet sword, and then recombine after fission, the whole process would burst out a destructive power that was far more powerful than the Sword of the Glorious Sun. Whether it was his golden core, his sword essence, or even his natal sword, the deep scarlet sword, it would cause great damage. If he had not cultivated his natal sword, the power that burst out from this sword in his body was bound to blow his body into ashes. This was also the reason why he did not dare to use his full strength when he practiced in front of Sword Master Bai Heng. But now, with the help of his natal sword, with the help of this supreme sword that had reached the 14th level in terms of level and firmness, the Sword of the Sunburst was finally released by him. It seemed to have turned into an eternal and inextinguishable blazing sun, and slashed towards the mysterious ice in front of him. In an instant, endless light and heat filled the void within a radius of hundreds of kilometers. The mighty and destructive power swept across the sky, almost burning all the creatures within dozens of kilometers into ashes. In everyone's vision, it was as if a big sun had been detonated. The intense light almost blinded all the practitioners who were looking in this direction. Even Qi Bai, Kong Song Bai, and the other golden core experts were unable to see anything clearly because of the supreme light that burst out from this sword. What kind of strange method is this? Damn it, break for me! Their field of vision was filled with endless white. Not only were the Golden Core realm experts affected, even Xianbing was no exception. He roared in shock and anger, and a round mirror with a diameter of dozens of meters appeared behind him. An endless stream of icicles shot out from the mirror, like a rain of icicles. These icicles were derived from the power of the divine ability. Not only did they contain terrifying firmness and speed, but they also contained a shocking chill that could freeze the void. Unfortunately, this cold aura that had shot out was as weak as a basin of ice water that had been poured into a raging fire in front of the sword glow that was descending like a brilliant sun. It was instantly melted into nothingness. The sword glow flickered and surged forward, crushing and incinerating everything in its path. Finally, it violently slashed onto the circular mirror that was dozens of meters tall that the mysterious ice had materialized. Oh no! Xianbing had been caught off guard by Qing Su's sudden attack, so she used her ability to counterattack in a hurry. She did not manage to truly unleash the profundity of the ability at all. However, the Voidwalker, Hunming, was experienced. He could tell that Qing Su's attack was comparable to a great ability at the very first moment. It was so vast that it was not something regular techniques could block. He immediately bellowed out, "Retreat! Retreat! Holy Master Xianbing, retreat quickly! Divine powers! This is a divine powers! And it is an offensive divine powers that have evolved to the extreme. It is only one step away from evolving into a great divine powers." What? Holy Master Xianbing was stunned by Tsinghui's sword that fell from the sky and contained a vast power. The divine powers that he had spent so much effort to condense collapsed in front of the brilliant sword light. The round mirror that was dozens of meters tall shattered with a bang. This kind of attack made him unable to make the best response for a while. Tsinghui let out a long roar. The sword light of the Sword of the Sun didn't weaken at all. It fiercely slashed Holy Master Xianbing's body with the power of the falling sun, instantly activating a protective armor on his body. Boom! Boom! The violent explosion mixed with tens of thousands of sword lights shot out in all directions at the same time. The powerful protective armor shone brilliantly, emitting a large amount of frost light. However, the light only lasted for a short while before it dimmed down. Although it finally blocked Tsinghui's Sword of the Sun, the power contained in this sword strike still shocked Holy Master Xianbing so much that he spat out a mouthful of blood. How is this possible? I have fought with 4 great divine powers 10 times and won 10 times. Holy Master Xianbing stared at his collapsing divine powers with disbelief in his eyes. Retreat! Retreat! Holy Master Xianbing! Hurry up and retreat! Voidwalker Collapsed Abyss looked at Holy Venerate Xianbing, who was clearly slow to react. He was so anxious that he almost went crazy. He wished that his true body hadn't become weak, so that he could replace Holy Venerate Xianbing and fight this terrifying expert. At least, he wasn't so weak that he couldn't even fight back in front of this great divine being. Tsinghui, who had slashed out the Sword of the Sun in front of Holy Master Xianbing, was also surprised. This Holy Master Xianbing's aura. Although his aura is above the remnant sword, he seems to be a bit weak. This thought flashed across his mind. He knew how powerful a great divine being was, so he didn't dare to be distracted. The Sword of Sunlight could only defeat the Saint Master Xianbing's magical power, but it was blocked by the armor with powerful defensive power. Then, he would use the second sword. If the second strike didn't work, he would try the third strike, the fourth strike, the fifth strike, the sixth strike, until the target was completely destroyed. I'm looking for recommendations, monthly votes, and subscriptions. The Black Ice Saint is a good person. She originally planned to use a Book Friends cameo, but none of them met the requirements. The requirements for cameos were all heaven-defying. If they didn't meet the requirements, they would be the best in the world. but now they really can't defy the heavens. Chapter 545. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it now! Dong Ming Voidwalker shouted crazily. At this point, Xianbing Holy Master could no longer fight back. Instead, she could not fight back at all. If not for the fact that Holy Woman Qingwei had given him an ancient armor of level 13, Holy Master Xianbing would have been smashed into pieces by this terrifying being. Ah! Save me! Dong Ming, save me! Xianbing Holy Master screamed in terror. Her heart was filled with endless fear. Even though she was wearing the ancient frost armor that her father had given her, which was strong enough to block Tsing Hui's sword radiance, the sword radiance and the terrifying impact of the sword radiance bombarded her body again and again. It burned her will. The pain of both her physical and mental body made her want to roll on the ground. Xianbing Holy Master thought that his resistance to pain was stronger than that of an ordinary person. He had even undergone similar training previously. However, the pain of his physical body could not be compared to the pain of his mental and physical body. It was not that he wanted to embarrass his father, but the pain was too much and exceeded his limit. Stop it! I asked you to stop it. Do you know who Xianbing Holy Master is? He is the son of Qingwei Holy Master, one of the 8 great Tao men of the Gate of Heaven. He is the only direct descendant of Qingwei Holy Master. If you dare to kill him, Qingwei Holy Master will not rest until you are dead. Even if you escape to the ends of the earth, no one will be able to save you. Seeing Holy Sovereign Xianbing frantically begging him for help, collapsing underworld roared furiously. At this moment, he regretted bringing Holy Sovereign Xianbing to this place. Otherwise, Holy Sovereign Xianbing would not have ended up in such a dangerous place. At the same time, he was in disbelief. He had clearly seen that Qing Su was definitely a golden core cultivator, so why was he able to unleash such a powerful strike that even the armor of frost that the Qing Wei Holy Woman had bestowed upon the Black Ice Holy Venerable was unable to block it? The direct bloodline of Tao Master Qingwei, one of the 8 great Tao Masters of Tian Dao? By now, Tsing Hui had made the 6th sword move, which had completely broken the armor on Holy Master Xuanbing's body. The powerful sword qi and sword essence directly hit Holy Master Xuanbing's body, severely injuring her. Her consciousness, which had no tenacity at all, was on the verge of dissipating. At this time, he vaguely understood that although Holy Master Xianbing was a powerful figure, she must not have developed the divine powers for a long time. She might not even have fully grasped the various changes of the divine powers. The reason why his aura was stronger than broken swords was not because his cultivation was deeper than broken swords, but because broken swords' understanding of the power of the divine powers had reached an extremely profound level. It was close to returning to the original state, and there was no excess power leaking out. Therefore, his aura naturally could not be compared with Holy Master Xianbing, who had just broken through to the divine powers realm. This could be seen from the fact that the threat he felt from Holy Master Xianbing was far less than broken swords. Holy Master Xianbing was just a weakling in the divine powers realm. If it were not for the powerful armor, he would have been killed by Tsing Hui in 2 or 3 moves. But now it was almost time. Tao Master Qingwei, so what? Tian Dao and Tianxiong are mortal enemies. If I kill a powerful figure of Tian Dao, Tianxiong may suffer less in the future. Tsing Hui snorted. Without the protection of the armor of frost, Holy Master Xianbing was vulnerable. As Tsing Hui shot out a sword qi, Holy Master Xianbing fainted on the spot. Now is not the time to kill him. Otherwise, if Tao Master Qingwei leaves some special means on him and directly descends, the consequences will be unimaginable. But Holy Master Xianbing is simply a moving treasure trove. I can't let him go. With these thoughts in mind, Tsing Hui's eyes immediately fell on Void Collapsing Voidwalker. What are you doing? There is a Tao master in Tian Dao who is proficient in the art of deduction. If you become an enemy of Tian Dao will never let you go, Void-collapsing Voidwalker roared angrily. Unfortunately, before he could finish speaking, Tsing Hui flicked his hand, and a sword chi destroyed this powerful figure's incarnation. After destroying Void-collapsing Voidwalker's incarnation, Tsing Hui immediately used a supreme immortal technique to reverse yin and yang. Instantly, the chi activity within a few hundred kilometers was disrupted. Not enough. After disrupting the chi activity, Tsing Hui flew up. The sword gleam on the deep red sword exploded again. His target was Hao Ran's sex Kong Songbai. Kong Songbai had been excited when he saw that void-collapsing Voidwalker had invited an almighty. However, in the blink of an eye, the situation took a turn for the worse. Holy Master Xianbing, a powerful figure, was actually being beaten to the point of crying by this man who was obviously only at the divinity realm. This change in situation confused him. He almost thought that he was hallucinating. By the time he realized that the person in front of him was most likely an almighty disguised as a golden core cultivator, the battle between the two sides had already ended. Tsing Hui's eyes had already landed on him. No, no. Kong Songbai screamed in horror and retreated rapidly at the critical moment. Unfortunately, in front of Tsing Hui, a golden core cultivator was not worth mentioning. As the sword gleam swept past, this Hao Ran Sect's Grand Supreme Elder was killed on the spot. What a pity! It's said that the golden core cultivators of Hao Ran Sect are all at a high level. I'm afraid I've lost dozens of Taoist rhymes for nothing. However, in order to prevent Tao Master Qingwei from catching up to me, it's better to kill him. This thought flashed across Tsing Hui's mind. Then, he turned his sword again. This time, his target was the crystal lake that belonged to Hao Ran Sect. Go, go, go. Go. Run. The Blood River battle team and the others in the Crystal Lake sect knew that they were in danger when they saw that Tsing Hui had captured Holy Master Xianbing alive. They immediately shot up into the sky and scattered in all directions. This level is not enough. Tsing Hui took a deep breath. In the next moment, the deep scarlet sword once again erupted with a dazzling radiance. Dozens of sword gleams whistled and tore the sky apart. With unbelievable speed, they shot toward the dozens of figures that shot out from the Crystal Lake sect. Even though the furthest among them had fled more than 10 kilometers away, they still could not avoid the fate of being shot to death by the sword. After killing these core members who had fled, Tsing Hui swung his sword again. The brilliant sword gleam was mixed with a destructive aura that resembled the fall of the sun. It suddenly descended on the Crystal Lake sect's base. In an instant, a terrifying explosion formed a monstrous flame that rushed into the void. Violent tremors swept across the ground and tore the area with a radius of more than 10 kilometers into pieces. The surging heat waves continued to spread in all directions and burned everything within a radius of 30 to 40 kilometers into ashes. Even the nearby Crystal Lake was boiled by this shocking heat wave. Endless water vapor rolled into the void. Unfortunately, with the Crystal Lake sect's base completely destroyed, no one was able to appreciate this shocking scene. Collapsed Underworld has escaped. Even though I've completely destroyed this area so that no one can provide them with the spatial coordinates, the people from the Heavenly Tao will still be able to descend through other methods. I can't stay here for long. Tsing Hui's figure flew straight toward the horizon. He did not choose to go to the Heavenly Sword Alliance or the Hao Ran Sect. Even if he helped the Heavenly Sword Alliance destroy the Hao Ran Sect, he would not be able to obtain more than 300 items that could carry the Heavenly Tao. However, the value of the Almighty Black Ice Holy Sage was definitely much higher than this number. It seems like my control of the Sword of Sunlight is still not up to par. Tsing Hui sensed his own divine sword, the deep scarlet sword. He could clearly sense that the deep scarlet sword had already sustained some internal damage after continuously slashing out 6 Sword of Sunlight. Even though this damage could be healed after a period of nourishment, the damage to the deep scarlet sword would continue to worsen the next time he slashed out such a powerful sword technique again and again. He estimated that the Scarlet Abyss sword would crumble after 10 strikes. This also meant that every time the deep scarlet sword was nourished, he could only slash out about 10 Sword of Sunlight at once. In the end, the power of this sword was too great. It was so great that the power of the sword light he slashed out could be forcefully raised to the level of a great god power. And according to his calculations, any cultivator could easily use their god power 30 to 40 times. Those almighties who had maxed out their recovery ability could even use up to 100 times as long as the frequency was not too high. There is no doubt about the strength of the deep scarlet sword. In the end, it's because my control of the Sword of Sunlight is too weak that it will damage the deep scarlet sword. The Sword of Sunlight was different from the Sword of Sunlight. The Sword of Sunlight could use all his strength to slash out the Sword of Sunlight, but the Sword of Sunlight, it was a power that exploded through fission and fusion. Its power was several times that of the Sword of Sunlight, and it consumed very little energy at the same time. Therefore, as long as he could control the Sword of Sunlight so that it would not damage the deep scarlet sword, he could completely use his sword technique as a great god power. Even if it was unfortunately only a great god power in the future, he could still exert the power of a quasi-supreme god power through the Sword of Sunlight. Let's leave quickly. Tsing Hui used the 12th Order flying sword, Sky Splitter, to fly at full speed. In less than an hour, he was already thousands of kilometers away from the Crystal Lake. Then, he found a secluded mountain forest, pulled out the unconscious holy sage Xianbing, and woke her up directly. "Ah, don't kill me, don't kill me!" Holy sage Xianbing screamed in fear as soon as she woke up. "Holy sage Xianbing, calm down," Tsing Hui said in a deep voice. "You, holy sage," Xianbing looked at Tsing Hui with a trace of resentment and fear in her eyes. At this time, all her arrogance had been destroyed by Tsing Hui's 6 consecutive sword move. "Holy sage Xianbing, you have the support of the Way of Heaven. According to the Void Walker, you are the son of Holy Master Qingwei, one of the 8 great Tao Masters of the Way of Heaven?" "Yes, my father is Holy Master Qingwei." Hearing Tsing Hui mention Holy Master Qingwei, Holy Sage Xianbing seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw. She said fiercely, "If you dare to kill me, my father will hunt you down to the end of the world. Moreover, the leakless Holy Master of the Way of Heaven is proficient in the art of divination. Even if you find a remote place to hide, leakless Holy Master will definitely be able to divine your location. Therefore, you'd better let me go at once. I can promise you that I will explain to my father that what happened today has never happened. Otherwise, even if you kill me, you can't escape death. In the end, you will die together with me. There is no deep hatred between us. Why do you have to make such a scene?" Chapter 546. Although Holy Master Xianbing hated Tsing Hui to the extreme, she still maintained her rationality. At this time, she could not anger Tsing Hui. She had to persuade him with emotion and reason, so as to eliminate his hostility. Everything had to wait until she could save her own life. After saving her own life and leaving this place, a cold light flashed in the depths of Holy Master Xuanbing's eyes. At that time, she would definitely turn the person in front of her into ashes. Not only him, but also his family, his parents, his relatives and friends. She would not let a single one of them go. Only then could she eliminate the hatred of being humiliated by this person. "You're right. There's no deep hatred between us. There's no need to make such a big fuss. Moreover, if I kill you, I will definitely offend the entire Heavenly Tao. Currently, Heavenly Tao is one of the most powerful forces in the divine wilderness. Offending Heavenly Tao will not bring me any benefit. At that time, I can only find a way to join the divine wilderness or the eternal. With my identity as an almighty, joining the divine wilderness or the eternal will definitely be welcomed. Unfortunately, this is not what I want. Xing Hui said slowly. Yes. You've said too much. You won't gain anything by being an enemy of Heavenly Tao. Even if you join the divine wilderness or the eternal, it will be useless. I don't mind telling you that Heavenly Tao will unify the entire divine wilderness sooner or later. This is an unchangeable trend. Although there are still a series of chaotic forces in the divine wilderness, those chaotic forces are not worth mentioning. When Heavenly Tao's reinforcements arrive, they will be wiped out immediately. Other than the Eternal, who can give us some trouble, no other force can stop Heavenly Tao from unifying the divine wilderness. Therefore, you should befriend Heavenly Tao as soon as possible and even join Heavenly Tao. This is definitely the best and wisest choice. Qing Su looked at Saint Xianbing and said with a sliver of surprise, "The heavenly ways want to unify the divine wilderness. That's something that has happened since ancient times, so it's nothing special. However, I've never seen you succeed in all these years. I don't deny that the heavenly ways possess great strength, but none of the other organizations of chaos are weak apart from the heavenly ways. In particular, the divine wilderness and eternity are no weaker than your heavenly ways. It's still very early for the heavenly ways to crush them, so the heavenly ways can't do anything to me if I hide in these two organizations. You only know one thing, but you don't know the other." Holy Master Xianbing was afraid that Xing Hui would kill her and join the eternal or the divine wilderness, so she hurriedly said, "The divine wilderness is just a native force of this world. Many experts of this world died in the war 10,000 years ago, so they are not worth mentioning at all. Although the eternal is not native, they have long lost contact with the forces behind them, so they are not a threat. Only Heavenly Tao has always maintained contact with the outside forces. Not long ago, we received a message from the forces behind us that their void fleet is approaching the divine wilderness. When they arrive, the entire divine wilderness will fall under the control of Heavenly Tao, and the secret of the divine wilderness abundant Tao aura will be completely grasped by Heavenly Tao, so Heavenly Tao will soar into the sky and become the greatest force in the chaos. Native forces. External forces. Xing Hui vaguely heard the firmament master mention that Heavenly Tao was not as simple as it seemed on the surface. At that time, he did not think much about it, but now it seemed that Heavenly Tao was not simple because of this reason. They belonged to the external forces? And that void fleet, what's the matter with the void fleet? The Black Ice Holy Master looked at Xing Hui, her gaze faintly flickering. In fact, she had only heard her father mention the void fleet occasionally. This matter was still highly confidential, and she did not know the specifics. Fortunately, as she had been by Qing Wei Holy Woman's side for many years, she had obtained a lot of information. Through this information, she made some conjectures and immediately began to exaggerate. The Void Fleet is a powerful fleet sent by the forces behind Heavenly Tao. 10,000 years ago, Heavenly Tao and Eternity once invaded the divine wilderness world, but many experts in the divine wilderness world risked their lives in a bloody battle. Not only were there, one thought to create a world, experts, it was said that there were great existences above, one thought to create a world that fought and repelled the forces behind Heavenly Tao and Eternity. At the same time, they cut off the passageway between the divine wilderness world and the outside world, causing the divine wilderness to become an ownerless land in the void. Now, Heavenly Tao and Eternity belong to the remaining forces of Heavenly Tao and Eternity who were unable to retreat in time. After 10,000 years, the divine wilderness has fallen into a state of decline, and Heavenly Tao has once again locked onto the location of the divine wilderness. Xing Hui looked at the Black Ice Holy Master and analyzed whether her words were true or false. You should understand that the current divine wilderness is not worth mentioning compared to its heyday 10,000 years ago. The difference between the two is like a firefly compared to the bright moon. Once the void fleet of the forces behind heavenly Tao descends, who can resist? Not the divine wilderness, not the eternity, and naturally not the other chaos organizations. At that time, the divine wilderness will be ruled by heavenly Tao. Therefore, at this time, it is best to please heavenly Tao and join us. She looked at Qing Su and said, "You're a powerful figure. If you're willing to join our way of the heavens at a time like this, we'll definitely welcome you with open arms. In particular, I'm the son of holy woman Qingwei. With my guidance, I can guarantee you a meteoric rise in the way of the heavens. As long as you make some contributions, it won't be difficult for you to become a true lord. However, once the void fleet arrives, it'll probably be too late for you to join the way of the heavens. The opportunity is right in front of you." While speaking, Black Ice Holy Master sneered in her heart. As long as Tsing Hui dared to follow her back to heavenly Tao, she would definitely let him know what it meant to beg for death. Tsing Hui looked at Black Ice Holy Master and was silent for a moment, as if he was considering. But in the end, he gritted his teeth and said with a fierce look, "I still don't believe you. Just now I seriously injured you and almost killed you. Once I really go back to heavenly Tao with you, you will mobilize the experts of heavenly Tao to deal with me. Then, I will be helpless. Therefore, I'd better kill you and then join Eternal. The divine wilderness is a local force and has no future. But Eternal must have connections with the outside forces. Maybe their void fleet is also on the way." "No, no, no. Impossible, we have pawns lurking in Eternal. If their void fleet comes, we will know. Joining heavenly Tao is the right choice." Holy Master Xianbing panicked. "Humph, although you are a powerful figure, you can't be the highest level in heavenly Tao. How can you know what happened in Eternal? Maybe this information has been concealed by the higher-ups of heavenly Tao." Tsing Hui said, with a fierce look in his eyes, "Well, let me send you on your way." "No. If you kill me, aren't you afraid that my father will kill you? Even if you join Eternal, you can't stay in Eternal's territory forever. Once you leave Eternal's territory and lose its protection, you will be in danger forever. This will not do you any good." Black Ice Holy Master said hurriedly, no longer as calm as before. "Let you go? How can I guarantee that you won't take revenge on me in the future? I swear to God, I will never take revenge on you." "I don't believe you." "I can spare your life, but I have to think of a foolproof way," Tsing Hui said, walking back and forth in front of Black Ice Holy Master. He seemed to be really anxious and irritable, which made Black Ice Holy Master tremble with fear. I got it. The reason why Holy Master Qing Wei values you is that you are talented, have a high level of chaos, and have cultivated divine powers. As long as you don't have these, Holy Master Qing Wei will not care about you. Quick, destroy your own cultivation. Then give me your chaos magic incantation. No, not only the chaos magic incantation, but also all the things in your personal space. Otherwise, it won't take long for your cultivation to recover. At that time, you will still take revenge on me. Quick, do as I say, don't leave anything behind, or I will kill you." Qing Su yelled at Saint Xianbing. His face was filled with worry for the future, and he was under too much pressure. He was on the verge of going insane. His gaze, expression, state, and presence were completely imitated, causing Saint Xuanbing's heart to tremble from fright. You can't do this, you can't do this. If you can't do it, go to hell. Anyway, you will definitely take revenge on me. Instead of being killed by your father, Holy Master Qing Wei, I'd better kill you first and drag you down with me. I'll give it to you. I'll give you the chaos magic incantation, Taoist connotation, and Taoist items. Don't be impulsive. Calm down. We don't have to fight to the point of mutual destruction. Quick, take them out. Give them all to me. As Ching Su said that, he kicked the black ice saint viciously. It's all your fault for sticking your nose into other people's business. If it weren't for you sticking your nose into other people's business, how would I have ended up like this? How would I have offended the heavenly ways? It's all your fault. It's my fault, it's my fault. Your Excellency, please calm down. I'll give you everything. Take these Taoist items, magic weapons, and my chaos magic incantation and leave. Don't worry, I won't let my father kill you, he really won't. Quick! Unknowingly, I've been delayed by you for almost 2 hours. In these 2 hours, your friend must have reported this matter to your father, Tao Master Qing Wei. Perhaps he has already come to the Cloud Sea continent. With his ability as a Tao Master, he might be able to find me at any time. Once he finds me, I'm dead. I have to leave this place as soon as possible. I have to leave this place. Black Ice Holy Master was scared by Tsing Hui's crazy attitude. She hurriedly handed over her Taoist items, magic weapons, and chaos magic incantation and said, "Here you go, here you go. I won't let my father take revenge on you. But I'm afraid that he won't listen to me and will attack you as soon as he shows up. By then, it will be too late for me to stop him." At this time, he didn't dare to think about anything else. He just wanted to save his own life as soon as possible. He became a powerful figure in less than 200 years and had a bright future. He couldn't sacrifice his youth in vain. The chaos magic incantation and magic weapons were just worldly possessions. If he lost them, he could ask his father for more. However, he only had one life. Once he died, he would lose everything. No matter where you are, your origin is very important. Chapter 547. It's all here, all my things are here. In order to save her own life, the Saint Master of Profound Ice was truly shameless. She did not need Qing Su to force her too much. She had already stripped herself clean. It was hard for ordinary people to understand the thinking of a genius. I'm leaving. Remember, no revenge. No revenge. Qing Su continued to act like he was on the brink of a mental breakdown and quickly stowed everything away. He did not even let go of the 13th Order armor of frost on the Xianbing Saint Venerable Go. To prevent the armor from leaving behind traces of the Qingwei Holy Man, he used the yin-yang reversal technique again. That way, even if the Qingwei Holy Man wanted to ask the Anis Ruckus Holy Man to find his location through the armor of frost, it would be futile. I can't stay in the Cloud Sea continent. Tsing Hui panicked, but he was quite satisfied with what he got from Holy Master Xianbing. Holy Master Xianbing had a lot of good things. A level 11 flying sword was worth about 200 Taoist runes, a level 13 armor was worth more than 600 Taoist runes, and an icicle-shaped magic weapon was worth about 200 Taoist runes. If he sold this set of things, he could get thousands of Taoist runes, which was much more than what he could get from completing the tasks in the Cloud Sea continent. Not to mention, in addition to these, he also found some miscellaneous items from Holy Master Xuanbing's body, such as a Dao-carrying item with 14 Dao runes, as well as a 29th level Chaos item. As long as these items could be sold, they would be worth an astronomical figure. Of course, he had to pay a heavy price. No ordinary powerful figure could bear the consequences of offending an invincible giant in the divine realm. If an invincible giant in the divine realm wanted to kill someone, even someone in the divine realm might not be able to resist. After all, it was much more difficult to kill someone than to protect someone. Go, I seem to have sensed my father's aura. If you don't leave now, it will be too late. The Xianbing Holy Master acted like she was begging her grandfather and grandmother. All she wanted to do right now was leave as quickly as possible in Qing ruins and contact her father as quickly as possible. If everything went well, everything she had lost would be returned to her very soon. Swish. Without wasting any more time, Tsing Hui leaped and rushed out of the forest. Seeing that Tsing Hui had finally left, Holy Master Xianbing let out a sigh of relief. The next moment, she recalled everything that she had experienced in the past 2 hours. She couldn't help but feel humiliated like never before. "I'll remember you, Tsing Hui, no matter where you hide, I will find you. Do you know how talented I am?" He entered the path of cultivation at the age of 10, condensed his vital energy at the age of 60, and formed his Aurus core at the age of 100. After that, he spent more than 100 years to condense his superior-grade Aurus core, evolve his Abhijna, and step into the Abhijna realm, becoming a mighty figure. When had he ever suffered such humiliation in his life? This was an unprecedented amount of hatred. "If I don't kill you, I swear I'm not a human." Holy Master Xianbing slowly stood up. There was no longer any trace of humility on her face. Instead, her chest was filled with uncontrollable rage. However, before she could do anything else, a bright sword light suddenly tore the sky apart. It carried a blazing light that could burn up the void. In an instant, it broke through the sky and headed straight for Holy Master Xianbing. No. Holy Master Xianbing felt the familiar blazing light in the sword light. She opened her eyes wide and let out a desperate and unwilling roar. The next moment, the sword light whistled and directly penetrated her head. "I've thought about it. It's safer to kill you." Vaguely, there seemed to be a voice in the void. Filled with unwillingness and anger, Holy Master Xuanbing's world gradually dimmed until it was completely dark, reverse yin and yang. With a clench of the green ruin's hand, the energy of the world and the laws of energy within several hundred kilometers all fell into disorder under the interference of an invisible ripple. Even if a powerful expert with a teleportation technique wanted to teleport here, they would be severely disrupted, resulting in a result where the slightest mistake could lead to a huge difference. Although I have the reverse yin and yang, I really can't stay in the Cloud Sea continent any longer. Tsing Hui thought to himself. He directly sensed where Su Yuan was from the hidden sword sect. The next moment, he performed the incarnation skill. Swoosh! As the space in front of him kept shrinking, the surrounding environment also changed rapidly and accelerated until it became a flowing light that was hard to be seen by the naked eye. After a while, the flowing light dissipated and the surrounding environment gradually became clear. Tsing Hui had already appeared in the sky above the courtyard of the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce. Tsing Hui quietly arrived at the Divine Grace Chamber of Commerce with the help of Su Yuan's consciousness. Then, he let his own body step out of the space alone. After this step, he still seemed to be a little worried. He performed the reverse yin and yang again and erased all the information that he had arrived here with the incarnation skill. Although I have been very careful, I should have left a lot of backup plans. First, the fact that the Hunyuan Chamber of Commerce accepted the mission from the Haoran sect is a suspicious point. Second, this time I didn't use a fake name in the Cloud Sea continent. Although the name Tsing Hui is known in the world, if I contact the Hunyuan Chamber of Commerce again, it will be easy for others to find out. It seems that I have to keep the Hunyuan Chamber of Commerce quiet for a while and try not to have too much contact with the outside world. Besides, Tsing Hui thought of esteemed Zhu Zhao. Should he tell esteemed Zhu Zhao about this matter? If esteemed Zhu Zhao could come to his rescue when he was being chased by Holy Master Qing Wei, his safety would undoubtedly be guaranteed. However, thinking of esteemed Zhu Zhao's current state, he shook his head and did not want to disturb him. I have the Lihan heavenly world with me now. This object has the power to block out the void windstorm for a short period of time. Therefore, even if I accidentally teleport into the void, I will be safe for a short period of time. When that happens, I will use the heavenly stone in my hand and the sword of the sun to tear the void and return to the mainland. My safety will be somewhat guaranteed. As he thought of this, Tsing Hui could not help but look at the hidden sword sect around him. Now that he was facing the threat of Holy Master Qing Wei, it was not appropriate for him to continue staying in the Hidden Sword sect. If something went wrong, the entire Hidden Sword sect could be destroyed. I don't know if esteemed Zhu Zhao and the others have found out about the whereabouts of the Hidden Sword Master. Fortunately, the Hidden Sword Master is flourishing under the management of Xiao Luiying and Luo Hongqian. There is no need for me to stay here all the time. Then, I will go to a nameless mainland to lie low for a while. At the same time, I will ask Heavenly Master to keep a close eye on Holy Master Qing Wei's movements. Xing Hui quickly came up with a plan. However, just as he was about to enter the Chaos Divine Palace and find a random coordinate to hide, his heart skipped a beat. A month's time is up. The cooldown of the deduction technique is over. Why don't I use the deduction technique to calculate the whereabouts of the second piece of the Fortune Divine Jade? When the time comes, I can hide in that mainland. Not only can I avoid Holy Master Qing Wei's sight, I can also investigate the whereabouts of the Fortune Divine Jade, killing two birds with one stone. As soon as he thought of this, Xing Hui activated the deduction technique and quickly calculated the information of the second piece of the Fortune Divine Jade. As the deduction technique was activated, all kinds of information about the Fortune Divine Jade flowed into his mind. Countless pieces of information gathered from the bits and pieces that he had come into contact with, forming a point. Finally, it pointed to a place. The Fortune Continent. The Fortune Continent, Xing Hui frowned. What did the second piece of the Fortune Divine Jade have to do with the Fortune Continent? Could it be that there is a second piece of the Fortune Divine Jade on the Fortune Continent? That's impossible. I remember that when the Fortune Divine Jade was unearthed, the people of the Fortune Continent set off a frenzied search for the Fortune Divine Jade. But even after more than 100 years, mobilizing countless manpower and resources, and almost turning the entire Fortune Continent upside down, they still couldn't find the second piece of Fortune Divine Jade. Speaking of this, Xing Hui seemed to have thought of something, and his pupils shrank. The second piece of Fortune Divine Jade is not on the Fortune Continent, but that mysterious array formation was very likely related to the second piece of Fortune Divine Jade. Moreover, Xing Hui speculated that once that mysterious array formation was repaired, it might be able to connect to Earth, allowing him to return to Earth and reunite with his family, parents, and senior sisters. My current cultivation is more than 100 times stronger than when I first stepped onto the Fortune Continent. At this time, if I want to unify the Fortune Continent, it would be a piece of cake. It's time to gather the wisdom and strength of everyone on the Fortune Continent to repair that transmission divine array. Xing Hui muttered to himself. He had already made up his mind. The place of refuge was the Fortune Continent. There are no coordinates on the Fortune Continent, and because the Fortune Continent is too far away from Heaven Wasteland, very few supreme experts are willing to send their incarnations to the Fortune Continent. Over time, the Fortune Continent and Heaven Wasteland are in a semi-isolated state. It's not easy to find a Fortune Continent cultivator from the Chaos Temple. Therefore, if I want to go to the Fortune Continent, I can only use the transmission technique. Although the transmission technique was a life-saving measure, considering the many secrets hidden on the Fortune mainland, Qing Su pondered for a moment before deciding to use the transmission technique. I've already cultivated the immortal body, and I also have the backtrack technique. So what if I offend the Qing Wei Holy Man and the Li Hen Holy Man? If I'm really forced to the edge of life and death, I can forcefully derive a divine ability. Even if my golden core is not at the perfection stage, it's still not difficult to derive a divine ability. At that time, even if they are God Realm experts, I might not be powerless to fight back. Thinking of this, Xing Hui's gaze fell on the transmission technique on the Son of Chaos interface. While Xing Hui was using the transmission technique to travel to the Fortune Continent, in the Heavenly Tao, The Qing Wei holy man had also learned about the death of the Black Ice Holy Senior from the Void Walker. He personally descended to the Cloud Sea mainland to understand the whole story. After ordering people to destroy the Sky Sword Union and Hao Ran sect, he directly returned. Enraged, he directly descended to the mountain peak where the Wu Lu holy man, who was proficient in the art of divination, resided. Anusrava holy man, I need your help. My son, my only son, who became a powerful being at a young age and who had a boundless future, was brutally murdered by a scoundrel in a remote corner of the Cloud Sea mainland. Even the ancient frost divine armor that I bestowed upon him fell into the hands of that scoundrel. I need to borrow your strength to deduce the location of that murderer, and then personally capture that murderer, crush his bones, and scatter his ashes to avenge my son's death. No matter who the murderer is, this debt of blood will be paid. To explain a little about the problem of storing Taoist aura does not represent all the assets of a chaos organization, but is equivalent to a reserve fund. Just like a family, the total assets are one thing, and the circulating funds are another. It is like an individual leaving a bank card to pay for medical expenses, social expenses, and so on. These reserve funds can even be understood as a corporate risk fund, and cannot be compared to the total assets of an entire organization. It should be known that according to the setting, the total assets of a God Realm expert basically start from 4-digit. Chapter 548. Your son, Xianbing, has fallen? Wu Likless holy man looked at Qing Wei holy man, whose heart was filled with endless anger, like a volcano that could erupt at any time, and was somewhat surprised. Yes. Please help me, Wu Likless holy man. If you can find the real murderer of my son, I will owe you a favor. Even if you need me to work together to kill an invincible existence in the divine realm, I will do my best. At this moment, Qing Wei's heart was extremely angry, and he could not wait to capture the murderer of his son alive and grind his bones to dust. However, Wu Likless holy man was the second Tao master of the 8 Tao masters of the Tian Tao, and he did not dare to order Wu Likless holy man directly. Instead, his tone was more of a request. Okay, don't worry, I will calculate the whereabouts of the murderer for you. You can give me the information you have collected. You should understand that the success rate of the deduction technique is not only related to the level and the target's cultivation, chaos level, and deduction technique level, but also related to the completeness of the information you provide. The more information you provide, the more complete it is, the more likely I will be able to deduce his whereabouts. I understand. I spent 3 days in the Cloud Sea mainland to collect all the information that can be collected on this mainland, and it is all in this jade talisman. Please take a look, Wu Likless holy man, Qing Wei holy man said as he handed over a jade talisman. Wu Likless holy man took the jade talisman and looked at it for a moment. He could not help but be surprised. Qing Wei holy man, you have almost finished your investigation. The murderer seems to be one of the people who accepted the mission of the Hao Ran sect. Although the name of Tsing Hui is not known to be true or false, it can still be an important clue. With these clues, and according to their life trajectory, it will be much easier to deduce their current location. As he spoke, he activated his deduction technique and quickly calculated Tsing Hui's position. With the operation of his deduction technique, countless pieces of information gathered rapidly in his mind and were separated at an extremely fast speed. Combined with the information provided by Holy Woman Qingwei, he soon deduced the result. The murderer of your son is most likely the mastermind behind the Hunyuan Chamber of Commerce. The mastermind behind the Hunyuan Chamber of Commerce is suspected to be esteemed Zhu Zhao of the Heavenly Vault. However, in addition to esteemed Zhu Zhao, a mysterious expert named Dongyang is also very suspicious. In addition, Zhu Zhao has a disciple named Tsing Hui, who is also likely to be the murderer of your son. The only point of conflict is that Tsing Hui is not a powerful figure, which is inconsistent with the information you provided. If Tsing Hui has reached the realm of powerful figures, he must be the murderer. My deduction technique is still in progress. Do you need me to calculate its location for you? Yes. Holy woman Qingwei gritted her teeth and said, Tsing Hui and the person who killed my son have the same name. I don't believe that this is a coincidence. Even if Tsing Hui is not a powerful figure, he must be closely related to the murderer. As long as we can catch him, we can most likely find the real murderer of my son. Okay. Anusrava Holy Woman simply and directly agreed, and continued to deduce. However, as he began to deduce Tsing Hui's whereabouts, Tsing Hui, who was tens of millions of miles away from the Heaven Wasteland world and had already arrived at the Fortune mainland, suddenly felt a sense of being spied on. The next moment, he seemed to have thought of something, and his face changed slightly. He directly cast out a yin-yang reversal immortal technique to disturb the surrounding information, yuan qi, and other related fluctuations, causing all the information elements within millions of kilometers to become chaotic. Buzz buzz. Anusrava Holy Woman's figure, which was in the midst of deduction, paused slightly, and a mysterious fluctuation spread out, causing his deduction to come to an abrupt halt. How could? What happened? Holy Woman Qingwei hurriedly asked. Anusrava Holy Woman frowned slightly. There's something wrong with that mysterious person called Tsing Hui. He can actually interfere with my deduction technique. How is that possible? In terms of deduction technique, even the Pavilion Master of the Divine Secrets Pavilion can't be compared to you. In the entire Divine Wasteland, you're the only son of Chaos who has raised his deduction technique to the 5th stage. It's true. Anusrava Holy Woman closed his eyes slightly. There are 4 possibilities for this phenomenon to occur. The first possibility is that his chaos level is higher than mine, at least 6 levels higher. However, I'm one of the only 2 44th stage sons of chaos in the heavenly Tao, which is 6 levels higher than mine. The other party has to be at least a 50th stage chaos level, which is impossible. As for the second possibility, his deduction technique is 2 levels higher than mine, and for a deduction technique to be higher than mine by 2 levels, his deduction technique has to be at the 7th stage, and his chaos level has to be at the 41st stage, which is also unlikely. As for the third possibility, his cultivation base is higher than mine by 2 large realms, and he has reached the 3rd stage of the divine realm. That's also impossible. Then, there's only one left. He has cultivated a technique to conceal himself from the heavenly Tao. Moreover, this technique has been refined to an extremely astonishing degree, so much so that he can break through my deduction technique. Anusrava Holy Woman's various deductions were completely based on the fact that information was not transparent. Even though the Lihen Holy Man and the Broken Sword Holy Woman knew that Tsing Hui's chaos level was 40 levels higher than his, both of them had the intention of monopolizing Tsing Hui's chaos level. Hence, they did not inform the entire heavenly Tao of this news, which caused Anusrava Holy Woman to miscalculate. Of course, the most important point was that it was extremely difficult for a low-level son of chaos to use deduction techniques to deduce a high-level son of chaos. The results would not be much better than what they found out themselves. It was just that Anusrava Holy Woman and the others did not think that Tsing Hui's chaos level was much higher than theirs, which was why they believed in the results of their deduction without a doubt. A technique to conceal himself from the heavenly Tao. Although the techniques to conceal himself from the heavenly Tao that are circulated in the divine wilderness are rare, there are a few that can achieve good results. Among them, the first is the yin-yang reversal technique of the remote Fortune continent. Next is the heavenly Tao that the Pavilion of Divine Mysteries created based on his own deduction technique. There's also the divine divination technique unearthed in the ancient cave that has the same effect. Why don't you investigate based on these 3 points? Alright, thank you Anasrava holy man, I'll go now. Buzz buzz. Qing Wei holy woman was about to speak when a faint pressure swept over from the void. Following that, she saw Li Hen holy man, who was ranked above him, striding over and appearing on the peak of Anasrava holy man's mountain. Anasrava holy man, Li Hen holy man nodded his head slightly towards Anasrava holy man to show his respect. Then, he turned towards Qing Wei holy man and said, Qing Wei holy man is also here, that's great. Li Hen holy man, Anasrava holy man and Qing Wei holy man both nodded their heads and said, Li Hen holy man, is there any progress on that plan of yours? Yes. Li Hen holy man's face was filled with joy as he said, the first holy man is currently in closed-door training to break through to the 3rd level of the divine wilderness. I don't want to disturb him, but us holy men can help him clear some obstacles in advance. Everyone should know about my son, Broken Sword. During this period of time, he has been constantly scheming and angering Tianqiong Zhu. Now, he is confident that he can lure him out and provide us with an opportunity to kill him. I came here this time to ask Anasrava holy man to calculate if there are any loopholes in this plan and if there are any areas that need to be fixed. On the other hand, I want to ask Anasrava holy man to help me. I have already asked Wu Se holy man and the Grand Emperor holy man to join forces with us 2 holy men to kill Tianqiong Zhu. With that, he glanced at holy woman Qingwei and said, I also intend to invite holy woman Qingwei to help. Holy woman Qingwei, you were once chased by Sword Master Bai Hing 30 years ago and I saved you. You owe me a small favor. Now that I'm asking holy woman Qingwei to help us kill the heavenly torch warrior, I'm sure holy woman Qingwei won't refuse? Killing Tianqiong Zhu will bring glory to the way of the heavens and help us to unify the divine wilderness. Qing Wei holy man wanted to find the murderer of his son immediately, but the Li Hen holy man not only used the righteousness of the way of the heavens to pressure him, but also mentioned that Tianqiong Zhu had saved his life. Qing Wei holy man could not refuse. After hesitating for a moment, he could only temporarily put the matter of avenging his son aside and chose to focus on the big picture. Okay, when we strike, please let me know, Li Hen holy man. Anyway, there were clues to the murderer's whereabouts. It was most likely Tsing Hui, who was suspected to be the disciple of the Zhenjiao master. If the Zhenjiao master was still around, it would not be easy for him to kill Tsing Hui. Now that he had joined forces with the Li Hen holy man and the others to kill Zhenjiao, and then kill Tsing Hui, it would be a good idea. As for when we strike, we still have to ask the Anasrava holy man to calculate. We used the broken sword to plot against Zhenjiao, and God knows if Zhenjiao and the others are also using themselves to plot against us. If we think that we have set a trap for Zhenjiao to jump into, but when we really strike, Tianqiong, Jianying and the other top masters of the chaos will appear outside. When that time comes, the ones who will be in danger or even perish will be us holy men. The Li Hen holy man was extremely cautious about this matter. The Anasrava holy man nodded. Zhenjiao is still okay, but Tianqiong can be said to be scheming and astute. In addition, Tianqiong and Jianying are very close now. It is said that even Tianqiong has the tendency to join their alliance. In this way, the number of invincible divine stage masters on their side will reach double-digit. Especially when it is said that Jianying and the Baihong sword sect are very close. They seem to be in an offensive and defensive alliance, and the power they can mobilize is even greater. The Baihong sword sect likes to meddle in other people's business. When we are free, the first sect to be dealt with will be them. The Qing Wei holy man's eyes were piercingly cold. He could not forget the time when he was chased by Sword Master Bai Hing for 1 day and 1 night, and there was no way out. Was it not for the sake of seizing a Dao object that he had killed a powerful figure of the Baihong sword sect? 1 temple, 3 sects, 6 schools, and 9 sects are nothing. because of the internal struggle for power within these sects, we have the opportunity to take advantage of them. Several sects have been infiltrated by us, and some of them are secretly led by us. At present, what we really need to deal with is these chaos organizations. After all, only the chaos organizations have the qualifications to control the Chaos Temple, and controlling the Chaos Temple is related to whether we can control the flow of the Tao aura of the entire divine wilderness. This is very important. The Anusrava holy man said cautiously. The flow of the Tao aura of the divine wilderness world. Back then, the heavenly way paid such a huge price to cross the starry sky and attack the divine wilderness. We paid an incomparably heavy price because we were interested in the extraordinarily high Tao aura production in the divine wilderness world, and wanted to uncover the secrets within. 10,000 years ago, our ancestors sacrificed countless amounts of blood, and more than 10 great existences that dominated the chaos fell outside the divine wilderness, but they were unable to conquer the divine wilderness and dominate this world. And now this great feat will be realized in our hands. A trace of fanaticism flashed across the Lihen holy man's eyes, as if he could already see the day when the heavenly way would descend upon the divine wilderness. My deduction technique has just been used, and it still needs a month to cool down. A month later, I will calculate the success rate of this matter. If there is no problem, as the Wu Leekless holy man said this, a cold light flashed across his eyes. Surround and kill Zhu Zhao. Chapter 549. Someone is using the art of divination to calculate my whereabouts. On the Fortune mainland, Tsing Hui was muttering to himself in a restaurant not far from the Purple Cloud Palace in the Cloud Pass city. He also knew the art of divination, and it had reached the second level. Therefore, he was very familiar with the strange state of being spied on just now. If I'm not wrong, the one who is calculating my whereabouts is most likely the flawless holy man of the heavenly Tao, but I don't know if he can calculate my whereabouts. As Tsing Hui said this, he thought about the description of the art of divination, and finally shook his head. The art of divination is related to the realm of the cultivator, the level of chaos, the level of the art of divination, and the information one has. With the power in the hands of the Qing Wei holy man, he may be able to find out that the murderer of his son is me, Tsing Hui, but to lock onto my position is tantamount to a fool's dream. Even the flawless holy man can't calculate the location of a son of chaos who has reached the 52nd level of chaos. Although his clues could not be calculated, Tsing Hui still felt a sense of urgency in his heart. The Qing Wei holy man could not determine his whereabouts, but if he chose to come to the eastern wilderness and destroy the hidden sword sect, would he show up or not? Even though descending upon a continent outside of the infinite wasteland domain and destroying the continent in his true form would incur the wrath and resistance of many chaos organizations, the Heavenly Way itself was one of the 3 most powerful chaos organizations and was the one who set the rules. Furthermore, Holy Man Qing Wei was an invincible being in the divine state. Even if he really did so, it was still unknown whether there would be any invincible giant in the divine state who would be willing to stand up for him. Although obtaining thousands of Tao rhythms in one go will bring me one step closer to the exceptional Aurus Core stage, the price I have to pay is also very serious. I have to speed up and find a way to cultivate the divine ability as soon as possible. Only after cultivating the divine ability can I be considered to have the power to protect myself against the furious Qing Wei holy man. Tsing Hui took a deep breath. Killing and arson was a golden belt. But this kind of wealth was not so easy to obtain. Why is it so messy? Just as Tsing Hui was pondering, a rather cold and arrogant voice came from the entrance of the restaurant where he was sitting. Qing Su raised his head slightly and glanced over. He saw a beautiful spirit-refining cultivator accompanied by a few people of the same age. She stood there indifferently. This woman had a proud face and was dressed luxuriously. Coupled with her peerless appearance and outstanding temperament, she looked like an awe-inspiring and inviolable fairy. Many customers in the restaurant stared at her. However, some people's expressions changed slightly when they saw the badge on the girl's body. It's the Chang clan. This ought to be the Su clan's second young miss, Su Shanshan, right? She's really as beautiful as the rumors say. No wonder she's able to cause countless young elites in Cloud Pass City to be infatuated with her. Even some of the nearby cities have young masters and nobles that have heard of her beautiful reputation want to see her beautiful appearance. The Su clan is a famous clan in Cloud Pass City. They specialize in building materials and real estate businesses. It's said that even the Purple Cloud Palace branch in our city was built by the Su clan. Their power is extremely tyrannical. Rumor has it that there are a few Spirit Chi Unity realm cultivators in the clan. Following the arrival of the woman, the crowd started to discuss and looked at Su Shanshan's body. So it's second young Mississippi. Second young miss, please come in. Following Su Shanshan's arrival, a quick-witted waiter immediately stepped forward with a smile. I like peace and quiet. I'll book this restaurant today. Get everyone out. Su Shanshan frowned when she heard the crowd's discussion and said coldly. Hearing that, the waiter glanced at the dozens of customers and revealed a difficult expression. Why, isn't it just money, Su Yi? This is for you. Get rid of them immediately. A young man with true Qi realm cultivation behind Su Shanshan stepped forward and sprinkled a handful of silver. Second young miss, I really can't decide on this matter. I'll have to ask the shopkeeper. Looking at the silver in his hand, the waiter trembled and was in a difficult position. Seeing that, another young lady couldn't bear it and said, Sister Shanshan, let's find a quiet room to sit. There's no need to trouble others and make things difficult for the waiter. Littling, it's not easy for you to come to our Cloud Pass City. As the host, how can I explain myself if I don't treat you well? There's really no need to be so troublesome. It's just that I've been too depressed in the sect during this period of time. I'm just out to relax. There's no need to make such a big fuss. Su Shanshan looked at the young lady in front of her for a moment and finally nodded. All right then, it's up to you. Arrange a private room for us. All right, second young miss, please come in. Ladies and young master, please. Hearing that Su Shanshan no longer insisted on driving away the customers in the shop, the waiter hurriedly agreed happily and led the group of 8 inside. However, at this moment, the young master who had been sitting at the seat closest to the window and waving a hand fan glanced at Su Shanshan and said, You can be considered as having some beauty. No wonder you're a little famous in this small Cloud Pass city. I'm out to play and need a maid to warm my bed and fold my quilt. I'll choose you. Huan Lu, go and bring her over. Yes, young master. One of the 2 guards behind the man who was dressed like a young master responded and walked towards Su Shanshan and the others with an expressionless face. When the 3 men in Su Shanshan's group of 8 heard their words, they stood out and said sternly, How dare you? Who are you? How dare you say such filthy words? Why aren't you apologizing to young Miss Shanshan? However, the man who was called Huan Lu didn't even look at them. He grabbed at Su Shanshan expressionlessly. Impudent! The man named Su Yi shouted. The sword in his hand was suddenly unsheathed. True energy burst out and formed a sword light, directly chopping at Huan Lu's outstretched arm. Stop! N? The man Huan Lu's face turned cold. His outstretched arm didn't change, but his left hand had already abruptly stretched out and fiercely grasped Su Ye's sword. His strength exploded and his aura burst out. The sword in Su Ye's hand that had reached the 3rd level instantly shattered. Then, Huan Lu's hand moved again and a thunderous strike heavily landed on Su Ye's body. Su Yi, who was only at the peak of the true energy realm, seemed to have been struck by lightning. He spat out blood and exploded like a cannonball, directly smashing a nearby table into pieces. What are you doing? After sending Su Yi flying with one blow, Huan Lu's other arm grabbed Su Shanshan and expressionlessly dragged her towards the man dressed like a young master. Stop! Let go of Shanshan! The man and woman closest to Su Shanshan saw that Su Shanshan was captured. At the same time, they angrily shouted. Their aura burst out and quickly blocked Huan Lu. Ling Ling saw something and shouted in panic, "Be careful, he's at least an expert of the unity of spirit and qi." But her shout was a bit too slow. Huan Lu's expression turned cold. His left hand once again punched out, courting death. With one punch, the heaven and earth's origin qi within a radius of 100 meters seemed to be attracted by his punch. Under the power of this punch that could attract the heaven and earth's origin qi, the remaining man and woman's aura burst out like paper and collapsed on the spot. Then, the remaining force of the punch fell on the man and woman. The tyrannical aura burst out. The woman whose cultivation base had just reached the spirit-refining realm died on the spot. The remaining man whose aura was more vigorous was also sent flying by the punch. After falling to the ground, he was also on the verge of death. Xiao Ming, Xiao Zhen, the remaining few men and women saw that Xiao Ming and Xiao Zhen, two spirit-refining cultivators, were actually beaten to death and one was heavily injured. They were so scared that they kept quiet out of fear. Those who were originally in the restaurant were either scared to the point of not daring to move or quickly left quietly. As for the waiters and shopkeepers of the restaurant, they all went into hiding. When immortals fight, mortals suffer. Neither side in front of them were people that ordinary people like them could provoke. Stop! Only the girl, Ling Ling, who seemed to be from a sect, mustered her courage and stood in front of Huan Lu. What are you doing? This is Cloud Pass City, the territory of the Purple Cloud Palace. How dare you bully people in Cloud Pass City in broad daylight? Once the Purple Cloud Palace's spiritual master Zhuan finds out about this, he definitely won't forgive you. You'd better let them go as soon as possible. Otherwise, it'll be too late for regrets, ha ha ha. Before Huan Lu opened his mouth, the young man who was dressed like a young master sitting by the window could not help but laugh. Ziyuan? Let Ziyuan control me? A small city-level palace master. He doesn't have the guts to point fingers in front of me. After saying that, his gaze sized up Ling Ling. This little girl looks pretty good. Although her appearance is a bit lacking, she's young and tender. Just nice. I'll have a dragon and 2 phoenixes tonight to enjoy the joy of having 2 people. Haha, Huan Lu, subdue her and bring her over. Yes, young master. Huan Lu expressionlessly responded. He pointed his hand and restrained Su Shanshan. Then, he cleverly sent her to the front of the young master. Once again, he reached out his hand to grab Ling Ling. Ah, what are you doing? Stop it, you beast! Although Su Shanshan, who had fallen into the man's hands, was restrained, she still had the ability to speak. She immediately screamed in panic. Beast? You actually dare to call me a beast? Then I'll let you see what a real beast is. Su Shanshan's words seemed to have angered the man. He suddenly stood up and tore her clothes apart, revealing the moon-white belly band and a large area of snow-white jade-like skin. How dare you insult me? Didn't you say that your name is spread far and wide in Cloud Pass City? Today, I'll do you in front of everyone here. Let's see how you'll be able to face anyone in the future. The man shouted excitedly and pushed Su Shanshan down on the table in front of him. Then, he reached out and grabbed her beige checkered dress. He lifted it up and looked as if he was going to do her in front of everyone. Stop, you. Do you still have any respect for the law? A man with a rather righteous heart in the crowd could not watch any longer. He slammed the table and stood up while shouting loudly. Bang! The table in front of Tsing Hui was smashed into pieces. It's the weekend again. It's time for me to explode. I'll continue today. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.